you how we did it, just in case you want to do it yourself. So there's nothing worse than somebody just throwing something in front of you and you're not knowing, like when you go to get, let's say, a dozen donuts and they charge you $29 and you say, wait a minute, it's a dozen donuts, let me see the receipt.
Yeah.
So we show you the receipts to show you how we got to where we got.
Yeah.
Okay? So it's important to see the receipts.
Today we've talked about so many different stages. You know, we went from graduating college to getting married to getting divorced, and here we are, you know, approaching retirement or being in retirement. But a lot of people just think, I'll do it tomorrow.
Yeah.
I'll wait.
true?
It's not
So
right now. There's so much right now that's on my mind. I'm just going to put it off. And a week becomes a year, and then 10 years down the road, I'm like, oh my God, I could have done so much.
Yeah.
Had I just stopped and called you and had you do it for me.
It's so easy to procrastinate. We all do it.
We
So,
do.
Yes.
Again, it's about making that step. This is a lifetime decision. A lot of people are afraid it's your money. I understand it's your money, but leaving it where it is not a solution a lot of times. If it's at risk right now, we've been pretty spoiled the last 15 years or so. We haven't had a market crash, one of these big ones that stays down.
Yeah.
What if you left all your money at risk and it was going up, and then all of a sudden we have the roller coaster and it goes down, 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 and then you get ready to retire and it keeps going down? You're in trouble because number one, you don't have a guaranteed lifetime income plan yet. And then when you have to start taking money out, you're taking it out and it's way down, you're locking in your losses, and you're having to take out more stock than you ever imagined because the stocks are way down in value. So we have a solution for this. Again, we'll do a forensic fee analysis. We'll do that total retirement plan, we call it, and we'll give you a GPI plan: growth, protection, lifetime income. There's not much more anyone can ask for in this, and this puts you, man or woman, in charge of retirement.
I love the sound of that.
And you get confidence when you do that, so you don't worry anymore. I've taken people that were worried, and they were still working, and told them they could retire tomorrow. Matter of fact, they could have retired 2 or 3 years ago if they met me, and put a plan together now that gives them double the income they were going to get if they kept working. We can do that. It's about lifetime income planning, utilizing what's available out there, telling the market to take a hike, by the way. We don't need the stock market once it's done the good job. That's the second phase of the relay race, is safe money and lifetime income, and you never run out of money. Perpetually goes around and around, sort of like playing Monopoly and never worry about going to jail. You're always passing go.
Hey.
And we can do that for you.
I love
You
that.
make it sound easy.
Well, it is a lot easier than Wall Street tries to make it look. The hardest thing, though, is getting you to pick up your phone and calling us to schedule an appointment. We're trying to help you. I know I don't like going to the doctor or dentist either. They're trying to help me as well. We are really trying to help you, and this is a way for you to perhaps get 50% more lifetime income than you ever imagined. 50% more than you were going to get.
Get started today.
Get started today. We'll show you how your numbers work with your numbers and your life.
Call Coach P.
%54 of Americans say that inflation is the #1 risk that they're facing. And I mean, prices have gone up. I went to Vegas a while back and I just kept saying, that's crazy, that's crazy, that's ridiculous, that's ridiculous. Yeah. How do people handle inflation?
It is, you know, I have a radio show, been about 22 years on national radio, and we've talked about inflation for years, but no one would pay attention. Now, the last 5 years, people are now starting to pay attention. Right. Things are getting, and they were getting more expensive as we went on because there's no 49-cent gas anymore we had in the 70s, but it was so slow. It's sort of like when you put a frog in a pot of water, and you turn up the heat very slowly, he'll boil to death eventually. Whereas if you have the boiling pot already boiling, you drop a frog and he'll jump out. So now we're starting to notice it because we're seeing that boiling water. That's the inflation. So what are you going to do about it? Make sure that your assets are outperforming inflation.
Right.
We can't have our money sitting in a CD. That's losing money safely, we call it, because CDs are paying, let's say, 3%, but inflation's 5% back in the day when inflation was 6, 7, 8. But inflation's still pretty high. So we have to have our money growing faster than the inflation rate. But we also don't want to take too much risk with that money.
Right.
Because you're not going to keep up with inflation at all if you're losing money.
Yeah, and you know, the knock on income annuities is they don't protect against inflation. Well, there's several ways to do it. Number one, you can buy inflation protection, a cost of living that your check goes up every year. There are some companies out there that if the market goes up, your check will go up, but it won't go down. It'll only go up. That's one way. And so the other way is, you know, you do what I do, and that I got 13 of them, and I've laddered them so that they kick in at different times, but that increases my income over my life.
You know, the negative things I've heard about annuities over the year, Tom, and especially from some of the writers who don't understand the financial world, they pick one annuity out of a bucket of thousands, and let's say they grab a variable annuity. Right. Now, I've never offered a variable annuity. I don't really believe in them. There's some good ones that seem to be coming out now, but back in the day there haven't been, but they have a lot of fees and mortality expenses. and you can lose money. So you put money in, it can go down. So the true annuities that we've always offered, you have that ratcheting up effect. The worst case scenario is you get a 0 for the year. But if you get a 0, that means everybody else is probably negative 10, 20, 30, who knows where they are.
Right.
So the next year you're starting from here, they're starting from down there. So when it goes up, you're going up. So you're not going to get rich quick in an annuity, but you're never going to get poor.
Folks, we have a very interesting guest this week. Matter of fact, if you've ever heard of something called the 4% rule in the money world, we're going to have the inventor of the 4% rule, Mr. Bill Bengen, on. And Bill is joining us from Tucson, Arizona today. Bill, welcome in.
Oh, thanks for inviting me. Looking forward to it.
Yeah. Now, like I said, you're the inventor of the 4% rule. How did you come about that, and what inspired the research behind this 4% rule that we hear about?
Sure. I was a relatively new financial planner back in the early 90s. Not a young one. It was a second career, but I got into that, and I started fielding questions from my clients who were, basically baby boomers with about 20 to 25 years to retire, and they were just starting to think seriously about how much they should be saving, and what they could spend in retirement. And I tried to find guidance on, the spending withdrawals, and couldn't find anything anywhere. No books, no magazines. All our other financial advisors were all over the map with their answers. So I decided to sit down with a computer and find solutions myself.
Well, you said this is your second career, and I want to tell folks a little bit about you. You were born in Brooklyn, New York in 1947, and then you went to MIT as a rocket scientist. You had a BS in aeronautics and astronautics from MIT. That is fascinating. Then you worked for your family soft drink bottling company after that. So you have a research mentality, don't you?
Yeah, I've learned something for every career I was in.
Tell me a little bit about the bottling career. That's a fascinating concept to me.
Yeah, well, that business had been in our family since the 1880s. It started out as a small backyard soft drink business in Brooklyn. In those days, soft drinks were not consumed year-round. Generally, they'd shut down after Labor Day and open up, sometime in the spring, which is pretty amazing when you consider what the business is like today.
Yeah.
But the business grew. They picked up the 7-Up franchise in the 1930s. The business grew and became substantial. And I was very disillusioned with what was happening with the space program, so I decided to accept the invitation to join. And glad I did. I learned a lot there.
Yeah. Well, so you got your degree, you did the bottling, and then something must have gone off in your head about 17 years into that career as a bottler, working in a bottling plant and working behind the scenes, and you decided to be a financial planner. Tell me about that.
Yeah, sure. Well, first thing, we sold the business in the 100th year that was in the family. So I no longer had employment. So I had to find it, and I spoke to my wife and kids, and let's not get stuck here in the cold Northeast. Let's go somewhere where it's nice and warm in the winter. So we ended up in San Diego for many years, and then finally here in Tucson.
And so you were in the financial planning career. There's a lot of us out here, and you must have been sitting down one night and you said, well, I need to figure out how much someone could take out of their portfolio and not run out of money. Is that how what was the thought process to come up with the 4% rule?
Much.
And what year was it?
Sure. That was I did research in 93 and published a paper in 94. And essentially what I was trying to answer was, what was the worst case situation in history? If you wanted to be ultra conservative and withdraw at a rate which guaranteed 30 years based on anything that's happened in the last 100 years, what would it be? Turned out to be about 4.15%. Was the worst case, which applied to the person retired in October of 68 who ran into a buzzsaw market, bear markets, one after the other, and then terrible inflation, which was to increase their withdrawals.
We call that sequence of return risk when you retire into a bad environment like that. And
That's
so
right.
you tested those back in the 90s. And what surprised you most when you were doing this research on the 4% rule?
Well, I was surprised at first when I looked at the asset allocation. I wasn't sure how much you need in stocks and bonds. And when I ran the numbers, it clearly indicated you need a very substantial position stocks, 65% probably. And bonds, not so much. If you go much higher than that, stocks, you get hit with a bad bear market, you get devastated. If you go low and with more bonds, you won't have enough oomph in the portfolio to generate the returns you need to get the withdrawals.
Right. And when we say stocks these days, there's so many stocks, and people need to diversify properly, or they could pick the wrong stock and be bankrupt in 2 days if it's a bad stock. You see some of these stocks go like a rug pull, and they don't exist anymore. So how can someone make sure they're picking the right stocks to go along with the 4% rule?
Well, I think diversification is the key. Invest in funds broadly diversified across markets, across countries, across industries. Good high-quality funds. There are plenty of those. Most of them are index funds at very low cost, so that they are easy to swallow. You're not dealing with friction, commissions, and so forth. So it can be done. People today are very fortunate to have this available to them.
Now, when we hear about different rules of withdrawal that you can make sure to have a successful retirement, Susie Orman's saying 3%. I've even heard someone say, Dave Ramsey says 8%. What are your opinion on those, or that range? What do you think about that?
Well, I haven't sat down with either of them to discuss the basis of their feelings, but just looking at my own data, I use historical data. I basically reconstruct the portfolios of investors retiring in 1926 to date. I had seen nothing in history that indicates anything less than 4.7%, which is the new number, my updated number. And to get below that, we would have to have something like in the 60s and 70s again. If you remember, we just had terrible bear markets followed by years of high inflation. And I don't see that on the horizon yet, at least.
What's your opinion on the S&P 500? Is that a good, I know Vanguard has a really good one. VOO is a symbol. That's a pretty nice S&P 500 fund. What do you think about that one as far as being included in that portfolio to get this 4.7 you're talking about?
It probably makes sense to do that over the long term, although on the short term, you're going to have to be careful because stocks are very highly valued and very concentrated in a few names, so that not always doesn't end well.
Now, you said you've been quoted that the 4% rule was never meant to be a law, more of a process. How should people use it today without locking themselves into a rigid number, I guess we say?
Yeah, I've identified in my book what I call 8 elements, which are basically assumptions that you can use to personalize your withdrawal plan. They include things like the planning horizon, how long you're planning to withdraw money, what type of account, taxable, non-taxable, do you plan to leave a balance at the end of the account for your heirs, and so on. Those 8 factors, you get values for each of those, and then you can next step is take a look at stock market valuation and inflation. And using those 2 factors, I've got tables set up so people can just look up their number.
Nice. Now, folks, we're talking to Bill Bengen, and he is the founder of the 4% rule. And Bill, for retirees worried about inflation today, what's the best way to protect their spending power long term?
Well, that's a real concern. I always say that inflation is the greatest enemy of retirees. I think in the bond portfolio, they could use tips, significant exposure to tips. And I think also they want to invest in top quality companies that go through a rough period of time of inflation and come out okay. They got pricing power.
This is more of a psychological question than a financial question, but do you think retirees today are more likely to run out of money or leave too much unspent out of fear?
The biggest problem I'm aware of is not spending enough. A lot of folks think that they can just spend off their interest and the dividends and live off that. That really constrains you tremendously. You have a much richer lifestyle. I imagine the heirs must be very pleased with that because that means they're going to get a lot of money, but that don't help the retiree much.
Bill, I had a client about 20 years ago, and I said, John, you're not spending much money. You've got all this money. He had millions of dollars. I said, you need to start spending it, having some fun because you're retired. And he said, that's a good point, Coach, because he had a friend who said if he doesn't spend it, his kids will go first class and spend all his money. So he still hadn't got that. He was still afraid to spend it, but his friend was putting pressure on him to start spending it because he said if you don't spend it, your kids will.
Yeah, there you go.
That's about what you were saying right there. What's the biggest misconception about your rule, and what do you like to clear up now, once and for all, that we're on the air? What do you think that people just don't understand about the 4% rule?
I think a lot of people think 4% or 4.7%, as I now phrase it, means that you take out 4.7% of your portfolio value every year, and that's not the system that the rule is based on. It's based on more like a Social Security system, where the first year you use your percentage. If it's 4.7%, you have $1 million. In an IRA, you take out $47,000. After the first year, you throw away that 4.7% and just simply give yourself a costing of living adjustment like Social Security.
So you increase it a little bit every year, over and above that what it was. Okay, and even in a down market.
Yes, my methods are designed to get you through bear markets. I mean, one thing about bear markets, we know that they're nasty and they can reduce your withdrawal rate, but they don't last forever. They'll get us a recovery and you'll come back. So it shouldn't be too impatient when that happens.
Now, tell us about A Richer Retirement, a book you wrote, and what can readers expect, and how can they learn more about your latest research as well?
Sure. Well, my book is basically designed like a cookbook where people can go to it and find recipes for a way to construct a withdrawal plan during retirement using 10 basic fundamentals. And then my website, bengenfs.com, I have developing a whole library of scenarios that people can look up something that's close to their own situation in terms of the 8 elements, then possibly use that as a template for their own retirement plan.
You know, a lot of times I'll sit down with a couple, and one of the two in this couple will be very risk adverse, and the other one will be a very big risk taker. How do you deal with a couple like that?
Unfortunately, I don't have to deal with it anymore. I've been retired.
Back in the day, how'd you do that? How'd you deal with people?
It was tough to reconcile. Yeah. You had to try and sit with them and sort out some of these financial issues. Some people are just very fearful of certain things. It's irrational, and there's not much can be done. Just reach a compromise if you can.
Now, finally, I want to wrap it up on a subject that a lot of people have heard about, because critics have said that 4% rule is obsolete after the 2021 to 2023 inflation shock. Is that fair, or is that fear, Marguerite, that they're saying that?
No, it seems to have survived it okay. Now, of course, that's only a few years ago. We don't know what will happen over the next 10 to 15 years, which will have a lot to say about what happens to people retired back then. But right now, they're starting out okay. They got hit with a bear market, but then they got a huge recovery, after that. So they're back in clover, I think.
We've been very, very lucky, haven't we, with these V-shaped recoveries we've had in the last 20 years?
Yeah, that's right.
Look at Japan. I mean, it took them forever to recover or get back on the right track. And that's the only thing that worries me, Bill. And I think that these days, though, I think the average investor is a lot more astute than they have been in the past. I think that's why they may help the recovery more than the stock companies themselves help the recovery, because people they have the fear of missing out. So when the stock goes down, they jump in and buy many times.
And that's using the correct strategy. Whether it is today, I'm not so sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree with that.
Back in the day, they say, trying to buy a falling stock was like trying to catch a falling knife. Yeah. And that is true on some of these penny stocks that go down. But for the traditional S&P 500 companies, that doesn't really apply these days, does it? I mean, it is good to buy low and sell high.
Yeah, I think if you're investing in a broadly diversified fund, you're protected against individual business risk. And you should just be fine over the long term.
Well, folks, his name is Bill Bengen, and his book is Richer Retirement, and he is the inventor of the 4% rule. Bill, thanks for your time today.
Thanks for having me, Pete. Appreciate it.
And, folks, we'll be right back after this.
What are your thoughts around long-term care?
I really like the concept. I've never liked the policies.
Yeah.
The policies haven't been good. I've been licensed to offer long-term care for over 30 years, and I've never offered a single standalone long-term care policy. Now, I have offered a lot of these new life insurance policies because they have the long-term care. They've got, well, let's say you don't need the long-term care. It turns into a tax-free death benefit.
Right.
Let's say you need income in retirement. If we set up right, you can get a tax-free retirement income from it. Life insurance is really the Swiss Army knife in the financial world.
Yeah, I think more people will be going towards a life insurance way because I own the traditional long-term care, and it's a great product. So I'm going to get benefits. I got a good one before, but the premiums have gone up.
Right.
Now we've been told they're not going to go up anymore.
That's what they always say.
I hope that's true. But the nice thing about the life insurance is that you've got this bucket of money. And if you need it, it's there. if you don't need it, you can take it back out as an emergency fund, or if you don't need it and you die, it goes tax-free to your kids. So it's a 3-in-1 type solution. I think that's going to fit a lot more people. But even people who are already can't buy that policy, they can't buy because they have medical problems, they have health, they can still get an annuity with a long-term care rider.
Yeah, that too. I mean, so you can always, there's always a way. Yeah, you can't take the first rejection and say, well, life stinks, I guess I'm going to have to be where I'm at. No, there's always alternatives, Tom. And so that's what we've specialized in the last 30 years, is finding the alternatives to get you where you need to be.
And that's why I think it's so important to work with a financial professional.
Hey guys, it's Parker Holland here, Chief Wealth Strategist at Capital Financial Advisory Group. We do a lot of case studies on the radio. You've seen us talk about it on our video series and TV shows, but we like doing real world examples. So we have a lot of people ask us, can you run the numbers for us? And they're even comfortable with us using them here on the board for you. This is a real study from a radio listener that came in, and we're not looking at the comprehensive plan here where we go tax, healthcare, Medicare, Social Security. We're looking solely at the income off their investments, because that's what we all save for. Bills and taxes never stop, but paychecks do. Like Coach Pete says, you got to replicate the income. So here's a real world example for a radio listener. They're currently 57 and 55. Husband and wife, spouse, doesn't matter what you're looking at. There's normally always an age difference most of the time, but they're looking at retiring in 7 years. So what we're looking at here, this will be age 62, and then of course with layover, overlap, this is going to be closer to 64. Now, they had about 1.4 million in retirement savings. Now, Wall Street is going to recommend that you take the younger spouse's age, subtract it from 100, and that's the risk versus safety. Unless they're more conservative, it can flip. Now, in this scenario, we don't run off a risk tolerance. Our plans and strategies are focused on income and standard of living. We want to make sure we're able to maintain the income they need. When we ran the numbers based on what they have and we back-sourced it, that put us at around $560,000 for their plan, and that's what I'm going to use here in this example. $560,000 with an A+ rated company. That's going to be a worst case scenario for our clients. So that means that no matter what the market does, they put in 560, we know it stays 560. What we're doing is, instead of holding an IRA or a retirement account with a custodian broker like Fidelity or Vanguard, we use insurers like Nationwide, North American, Athene, Allianz, A+ rated, and they all incorporate strategies and incentives, whether it's bonus percentages, dollar values. Well, here we're just talking about income. We're not focused on what the accounts are doing for bonus or incentive. We're focusing on what they generate. So worst case scenario, we want to know, no matter what the market does, what does that 560 get us? Targeting a 7-year window. Now, age of death, we normally do spreadsheets and 30-year models, but in this scenario, let's go a little farther because people are living longer. Let's go to age 97. That income received, worst case scenario, is going to be $60,000 a year. Now, that's off of the $560,000 number. This is assuming 0% returns, which means by age 97, there'll be no money left, but they're still getting the income. The spouse is, no matter who outlives who, or if they die at the same time, that standard of living is going to be met. We're not counting outside accounts. We're not counting Social Security. We're solely looking at that 560 alone. Now, we know we got bigger issues if the market does 0% every single day. So let's look at actual performance. 7 to 15% over the same life expectancy. We're not looking at a set rate of return here. This is where most calculators get in trouble. They run a fixed 7, 9, 10% number. The market doesn't do that every single year. The market fluctuates. It has years of -20, +20, 7, 15, 55. Let's just say it stayed between the historic averages over the next 40 years. That means that the income, instead of starting at 60,000, would start closer to 70,000. 57, 55, wait 7 years, what's it do? Well, that income is going to continue to grow every single year as well to 160,000 plus. That's inflation protection. But the goal is to live off the icing without touching the cake. What does this number grow to? Well, as I just mentioned, we're taking income, but our goal is to not drain principal. That's going to be over 3.7 million left for their heirs in that same period of time. These strategies are targeting growth, income, consistency without picking growth or safety. We're eliminating the focus in the standard norm and focusing on income yield so that the outside accounts, Social Security, everything else is icing on the cake. If you want your own plan or strategy or you want to see what your numbers do, give us a call, shoot us a text, go to our website and just poke us and let us know what you're looking for, and we'll give you your own exact numbers.
Invest in these meme coins unless you have a strategy to get in and get out real quick. Don't sit around when it goes up a little bit with your calculator saying, well, if it goes up to this amount, I'm going to be a multi-trillionaire. Yes. Of course, it's never going to get there and you're going to lose all your money. So if you've doubled your initial investment, sell half of what you put in, and now you're playing with the bookies money, we call it, because you've got all the money you invested back.
There you go.
Well, a whole lot easier to hold something long-term, Bruce, when it's not really costing you.
One of the big risks in retirement is sequence of returns risk.
Oh, yeah.
Americans do not understand that risk. So kind of, how do you explain it?
Well, basically, the day you retire is a very big day, and it can become a gigantic day if the market starts to go down that day. So now you're starting to take money out of your retirement. This is if you don't have a real plan put in place. A lot of you're trying to manage yourself. You're just going to take money out of the stock market accounts you have, and you're going to supposedly you have that 92% chance of being okay. But the market keeps going down. You keep taking money out as it goes down. The beauty of the stock market, if you have the time horizon on your side, is if a stock goes down and you really believe in it, you don't have to liquidate it. You hold it till it comes back up. If all that money in the stock market is money you need for retirement, you're going to have to start liquidating that money because you need it.
Chance of success. It's just we don't know what's going to happen on the day we retire. So I call it good luck or bad luck. And I don't want to subject my retirement to good luck or bad luck. And that's why I have a plan like what you talk about.
That's the Vegas mentality. We don't have time in our retirement accounts to have the Vegas mentality.
Hey, it's Amanda here, back again with my friend, Coach Pete, and I am so excited to see you. We've really dived in 2025, looked at the good, the bad, and the ugly about my finances, and I mean, it was tough, I'm not going to lie, but now that we've gotten it going, I'm ready to start investing some money.
We started, you said, Coach, I want to get my finances back under control or under control for once or whatever you said.
Coach, I'm in debt. I'm in debt. We bought a house, we bought furniture, we bought all the stuff to go in the house, we bought new curtains and glasses and dishware. How am I going to start investing if I'm in debt?
So we put a plan together. And what did we do in January?
So in January, we started buying the debt down.
Yep.
And really started
buying
working
the debt
on like the smallest ones and really paying those off. And I have thrown like every extra penny that I could possibly throw at it.
You took the highest interest rates. That's what we identified. Those are the big termites, the financial termites, high interest rates. Doesn't matter what the balance is.
Yeah. Well, and I had some furniture and stuff that was 0%. So I said, I'm going to wait, we'll get that last because it's 0%.
Don't wait to the last minute on that, though, because if you don't pay it on time, they're going to go back and charge you interest on from day one. And zonk you and put fees on there. So you need to pay that.
Wow.
And don't wait till like the day before. Make sure you pay that off like 30 days before they say that if you don't pay it, they're going to get you. Okay?
Oh, financial termites.
Yes.
That's why you got to get a copy of his book. And I think for me, the next question is, what do I need to be focused on with, investing? Do I need to get into crypto? I'm trying to maximize Jackson's college savings account and then my Roth IRA. And it's a lot. Like it, honestly, it's hard for me to manage the day-to-day.
Instead of jumping right into crypto, like getting your own Coinbase account, some of the brokerages like Fidelity and stuff have their own Bitcoin account. So they're investing in Bitcoin for you, so you don't have to go through all that. You just invest in their ETF, it's called, like a mutual fund. And IBIT is one of the ones you get in that you can own crypto without having to go through all that crypto game. IBIT is a symbol. It's doing pretty well since it's come out. So
Yeah.
look at that.
Okay.
You shouldn't despair. You've done a good job of paying some of that debt off, getting that high interest rate out of the way. We've already talked today. We had a great conversation because now you realize that if you owe even 1 penny on that zero financing for 36 months, they can go back and get you interest for every single dollar they loaned you. And I explain some of this in my book here, The Big Book on Retirement. I go in further detail in the second book I ever wrote. I've written 19 now, but the second book I wrote was the fine print fiasco, what they don't want you to know when you buy, borrow, and invest. And so if you call now, if you're watching this and you want to get a copy of both of these books, we'll send them to you at no cost or obligation. All you have to do is call the number you see on the screen. Or let's give the number out right now.
Yes, 919-794-7900 or text Amanda to 600-700.
Now, let's talk taxes for a minute, because taxes right now are historically low. What should people be doing about their tax situation in retirement?
Just came out with a book this year. It's over 250 pages called Tax Savvy Retirement. And so who cares how much you have if it's going to get killed by the tax man? If you have a big piece of cheese, it turns into Swiss cheese really quick before you even see it. So we need to make sure there's ways that we can isolate some money from the tax man. There's some special tax balancing we could do. If you have a big gain and a loss, we'll sell the loss and sell the gain and come with that, take that money and now you have a tax-free, basically. So there are a lot of tax strategies out there that are overlooked, underutilized, and should be used all the time to put people in control of their retirement.
Let's dig a little deeper into that, because Roths play a big role in that.
Love the Roth.
And cash value life insurance can play a big role. So talk about some of the ways that you can get people tax-free income.
Yeah, well, the Roth is a good one, but the problem is the more money you make, the less you can qualify for it. So what I found, I call it Roth times 2, is the life insurance industry. Yeah. And matter of fact, if you haven't had your life insurance policy, if you have one, if you haven't had it analyzed in the last 5 years, you need to, because some of the life insurance companies, matter of fact, the biggest ones, the A-rated ones and above, have come up with something called a living benefit rider on your life insurance accounts. If you have a new policy, you may have that. If you don't, you really need to get it looked at, and you need one, because what this lets you do, Tom, lets you take your death benefit out while you're still here to pay for long-term care. So there's no need for a long-term care policy anymore if you have a life insurance policy. And the beautiful thing about a permanent life insurance policy is once you qualify, they can never kick you out. They can never raise your rates. You can even pay your policy off. So you could be sitting on an asset you don't even know. If you have a life insurance policy right now that doesn't have this, you're costing yourself a lot of money.
Yeah. You know, I've moved more of my personal wealth to cash value life insurance. My premium was $226,000 a year on a 12-pay life policy, but all that money and more is sitting in there that I can take out tax-free. And what a lot of people don't realize is much of the money in annuities and life insurance is creditor protected, so they can't sue that. I'm from the state of Arizona. It's 100% creditor protected. That matters to business owners.
That's gigantic. That's huge. I mean, who wants to work all your life to build something only to be sued away with it? I mean, if people can attack you these days when they see that big, fat, juicy wallet you have, you're going to be a big target.
Here we are again, Chapter 5 of the Big Book on Retirement. I'm Thomas Lipscomb here alongside the author himself, Coach Pete D'Arruda. Here we are developing spending discipline. And I want, each of your chapters here, Coach, you start off with a quote. I wanted to bring this one up. It says, it's not your salary that makes you rich, it's your spending habits.
Yeah, and this is budgeting.
Yeah, it is.
And I don't like to call it a budget. I like to call it a spending plan. So let's write down, how do you figure out how much you're spending now? Well, you can look at your credit cards and your checkbook and see all the stuff added up. Or you can write everything down when you spend. That gets kind of tedious. Keep the receipts, scan them in your computer, that kind of thing. But then you come up with rough estimates about how much it's costing you to enjoy your lifestyle now. This is when you're working. And so that when you retire, we can have a judgment about what you're going to spend in retirement. So if you like to go out to eat on the weekends, you're probably going to start going out to eat more on weekdays when you're retired, because every day's a weekend. So we need to factor that in.
That's good.
And the whole reason why we save and put money, our money gets taken hostage by the 401k or 403bs or TSPs, because you give it, you can't get it back out. It's hostage. So we have a hostage situation. And we reach retirement, it's time to start rescuing those hostages. They start getting freed. That's money coming back to you. And then you say, well, gosh, we should have put more hostages away, right? So the more money you can put away now, the more you're going to have later. But it's just the thing is, we figure out how much it really costs you to enjoy your lifestyle, not just get by.
Yeah.
Anyone can sit home and watch reruns all day long, but You got to have some excitement in your mind. I always encourage people to keep a brokerage account, maybe $50,000 to $100,000 in there that you're trading. And so you're doing research every day. You're looking forward to the earnings report. There's always something you're looking forward to. What I've seen in life, if you stop looking forward to stuff, you're going to quickly dwindle down to nothing. So we always have to have something we're looking forward to.
Absolutely. And, you know, I love this chapter too, because speaking of developing spending discipline, it's not just the big main spending plan that you develop. It's funny because it reminds me of mitigating taxes in retirement and so many other things. You're building small things. Like your book, The Fine Print Fiasco, is what I'm thinking of right now. One of your early books. So this is one of your
the
latest.
second book I ever wrote.
Second book you ever wrote. But it discussed those core aspects of focus on little things here, here, and here, and they all build up into something rather, you know, something you could be proud of.
Well, mountains didn't get built overnight. You know, it takes, like when you build sandcastles, it took a bunch of buckets of sand to get a big castle. But I mean, without that first bucket, you didn't have a chance of the castle. And so the better the foundation, the more secure it was too. Take the same approach in the financial world. Firm foundation, lifetime income, put you in control, minimize or eliminate fees, commissions, expenses, and too much risk. And as we get into retirement, we want to be in control of our money, not our money controlling us. And we help people with that every single day. Approach retirement on your terms. We can help you. Thomas, the numbers are on the screen there. You can see that. The book will help you get your arms around it, and we can help you put that plan together. No cost or obligation, by the way, if you're seeing this video. Just give us a call. We can meet with you and help you get started to that really good retirement you deserve.
There you go. Yeah, it makes a whole lot of sense, folks. Go ahead and call right now. Don't put yourself in the way of yourself having an absolutely amazing retirement. Whether it's just getting that second opinion or you really don't know what's going on in your plans, you're just nervous about what's going on in the market either today, yesterday, or 5 years ago.
Well, there's no better time but the present to get it done, right? We can always put things off, but let's get ahead of the curve. Let's do the smart thing. If you do it once, you never have to do it again, too, by the way.
There you go.
Once you get that plan put together, it's autopilot, folks. Let's put you in that retirement autopilot.
I love it. Get that confidence, folks. Call Coach Pete and his fiduciary team. As he said, the number's there on the screen, and we will see you for Chapter 6.
Hey, I'm Coach Pete D'Arruda, president of Capital Financial. Folks, the financial world is very, very confusing. That's why we put together a series of educational videos called webinars. You can see them at any time by signing up at CoachPete.com. We'll see you there.
Everybody's putting their money in 401ks, but long term, that can be a problem.
Well, a lot of them are orphan 401ks. What that means is you work for a company. People don't work for a company 30 or 40 years these days. They work for a company for 4 or 5 days, sometimes, or 4 or 5 years, and then to go to a different company. So they leave their 401ks behind. So we call this splintering or orphaning. So what we've done is we open up a super IRA, and we roll all the different 401ks in there. Now you have them all in one place. And they're a lot better investment options when you have the own personal IRA than the 401ks. 401ks usually give you maybe 10 to 30 different options. Whereas your own super IRA, you can have 5,000 or more different options. So you have a lot more choices. You can even build guaranteed lifetime income into your IRA that way. You can't do that in 401ks.
Absolutely. And you know, another way to play the crypto is you don't have to actually do the coin thing. There's ETFs now where you get full exposure to it without all the hassle of.
That's the best way to do it for the average American who doesn't want to worry about it, because Fidelity has one, BlackRock has one, IBIT is a good one. There's some other good ones. There's even ones for Ripple and Ethereum if you don't want just Bitcoin. There's ones that have a collection, like a basket of them. So check with your financial advisor or do your own research. I think a lot of financial advisors may try to shoot you down again because they are maintaining the hold of your money in their managed accounts. And if you leave them with money, it's going to be less money they can manage, less money they can charge you on.
Well, and let's be clear where I stand on it. I'm not saying put all your money anywhere. I say 1 to 3%. Some people say 5, some people say more. I'd say no more than 5 as somebody who's
just like physical silver and gold.
Just a small amount, because the performance can be so high, it can help the entire portfolio.
And again, if you just put a little bit in there, if it does go away, you didn't lose the fortune.
Right. And now there's even a Bitcoin short. So if you don't believe in Bitcoin, you can buy something that if it goes to zero, you're like your million headed to go to zero. So and just so you know, once Bitcoin went up, what is my risk? My risk is that it goes back down. And so I bought some of the short just to hedge against it going down. I hope it goes to zero, but I mean, I hope the hedge goes to zero. But if Bitcoin goes to zero, I'll make.
So you're protected on both sides.
On both sides.
Yeah, that's when once you start winning the game, you win the game, and you're winning Monopoly, right? You have Park Place and Boardwalk right now. You can build all the houses you want.
Right.
Hey, it's Amanda, and I'm back again with my friend Coach Pete. Coach, everybody I know has a side hustle. The biggest thing for me is, why are we not treating the side hustle like our retirement? We need to be throwing money into our retirement. We're working harder to try to make that extra income, and we're just spending all of it. We're not even putting it in our retirement. Why?
Yeah, if you have a side hustle, like a second job,
Yeah.
every single penny of that should go to a place that's going to benefit you and your family in the future. And the best way to do that is to put in what I call a time capsule account, which will grow and not shrink. So it'll grow according to, it'll share with the market, but won't go down when the market goes down.
When the money comes in, you put the money in your retirement account,
Yep.
and then you pay everything
Well,
else.
what's a retirement account? See, the confusion these days, and it's widely known that a real retirement account is going to give you lifetime income you can't outlive and can't go away. But yet Wall Street tells you they have a retirement account that'll give you this magic return. And you put the money in, and all of a sudden you start losing money. And you have fees. And all of a sudden the money's not there. So have a plan. And the plan needs to be a long-term plan, like your whole life. What do you want to do when you retire? Where do you want to go? How much is it going to cost? Let's put a plan together that will fund that for you so that when you get there, you don't have to ask permission. You know, when we were little, we had to ask permission. When we're older, we shouldn't have to ask permission. But if you don't have money, you're going to have to ask permission.
It's going to be
You're going to
hard.
have to ask the bank, can I please have some money so I can go on to a vacation? And the bank will say, when are you going to pay it back? You know, so again, it's all about having the plan that's designed ahead of time to put you in charge and in control of your retirement.
Jackson just turned 3. Can you believe that?
Happy birthday.
3, and I feel like it flies by.
It does.
Every single year.
You talking to me?
Yeah, I'm talking to you. And you talked me into, setting up his account, and I did set up his 529.
529, yep.
But I need to get back on track with some other things. Now that, hey, school's back in. Year-round's already back in. Regular calendar's about to go back in. So how do we get back on track? How do we set this up?
Yeah, it's about having a routine and a positive routine, a routine that will get you in control. It takes about a month to form a good routine. It takes about 1 day to form a bad one. So the good routines are putting money aside for retirement, making sure your money's going to be there, make sure it's growing now, and make sure you can have a lifetime income from your money and know what that income's going to be ahead of time. Now, that sounds like a lot of steps, but we do that for every single one of our clients, and I've done it for the last 33 years.
What do I need to do to have that backup college plan for Jackson?
Yeah, well, my daughter Carrie, I've had 2 529 plans for her over the years. So a North Carolina one and a Utah one. And she's using the Utah one. She's going to University of Alabama, and that's not a cheap place. So lucky for her daddy put some money aside. But there's more to life than the 529 plan. You could put money in your 401k plan and then borrow against it to fund your college education for your child if you wanted to.
Ooh.
I don't really recommend that. I think
Yeah.
you're better off doing the 529 plan, having something that's segmented and that's destined to go to education instead of saying, I want to rob my retirement so my child can go to school.
Recently we went on our bucket list trip to Montana, and I met this couple, and they told me that they travel in the country, and they were well into their 70s. And I'm like, how in the world do they afford to do that? And I thought about it. They played their cards right. They retired because they invested, and they did it the right way.
You know, investing is one thing, but what I've seen a lot of successful folks lately, they have a tax plan. So that's why I just wrote the book, The Tax Savvy Retirement. Doesn't matter how much money you have if Uncle Sam's stealing it all. So let's design your retirement money in a way that you will benefit more than Uncle Sam will.
You are right here in Apex, North Carolina.
Yep.
This is where you're located, and you can come visit. I mean, literally, he's a North Carolina man.
You know, Amanda, I've noticed an alarming trend lately where a lot of advisors from other states are trying to use AI and use a lot of advertising to get people to do a Zoom meeting with them, and all of a sudden you're sending them a check to a different state. I would never do that. So we're local. Come see us. Come. We have 27,000 square feet here in the Coach Pete land, we call it, in Apex. Come see us.
All right, Coach, what is the financial fill-up?
And there's the sounder. You remember when you're little, maybe you don't, some people do, being in the back seat. I remember being in the back seat of Mom's station wagon, and she'd go to get some gas. She'd pull in, and she'd hear. And then the guys would come running out. They'd check the oil, clean the windshield, and fill the car with gas.
Yay.
All for 49 cents a gallon.
Oh, I love that.
That was back in Wisconsin in 1974, right before the embargo and all that stuff that happened. Anyway, it's all about making sure that we have enough income. And that's why we started talking about a financial fill-up, because it has to be something that we can understand. And when you get to retirement, you understand the fact that your bank account magically fills back up every year. That's a financial fill-up.
Coach, tell me about this race car team that we're building.
Yeah, well, when you watch these races on TV, these are multi-million-dollar cars that are zooming around that track. Gigantic engines of the best of all technology. But what if you spent your whole life building a team, a race team, and when it came to race day, you forgot to order tires for the car?
Oh, no.
That's what's happening to most people these days with these gigantic 401k balances, or these retirement fund balances. They see a big lump sum, but they don't know what kind of lifetime income they can get from that. That's the tires on the car. And without the tires, the car ain't going where? It ain't going nowhere.
I thought I couldn't handle my own retirement.
Yep.
I'm just going to be honest because I'm a woman. But the truth is that anybody can call you and anybody can sit down and say, here are my finances. I need to set them up. Let's go.
I see a lot of people that just want to get their arms around what's going on.
Yeah.
And so a lot of times one of the two spouses handles that by default. Many times it's a guy. I don't know why, but that's what happens. And so I think both spouses need to know what's going on in their retirement accounts especially, but every account. And you need to learn. Don't just ask your spouse. Learn why your spouse is selecting what they're selecting, so that if your spouse isn't here, you can still go forward and not be intimidated. All right. So we spend a lot of time with folks like this, especially divorcees or whatever. So we're getting them right on the back on the track.
I need a concierge service. Do you handle that?
Oh yeah.
I got enough going on.
We have a private wealth division for $10 million and up too. But
Ooh.
what I spend my time most of the time on our second floor, which is for anyone who wants to get started with a plan, has a plan they're not sure of, had a plan with an advisor they don't really trust anymore, or losing money, whatever.
Yeah.
Or getting close to retirement and realizing your planner never put together for you a retirement plan. If you look at it, but you have to have some more. So your 401k, we need to translate what kind of lifetime income you can get from that lump sum in that big skyscraper account you have called a 401k.
Yeah.
Let's see what kind of income you can get from that. My grandparents were working. They would work for 30 or 40 years for a company. They'd retire. The company would start paying them a check. That was called a pension.
Yeah.
Well, they took pensions away a long time ago. They said they went the way of the dinosaur, probably about that time. So now it's up to you to design your own income plans with the money you've already put aside. So that 401k, that big skyscraper with no furniture, let's make sure it's furnished. And that's by designing an income plan on the money you've already put aside.
The years are flying by, and I always say this to you. You need a good lawyer, you need a good tax man, and you better have a good financial planner. And that's what we have with you.
Thank you. Yeah. Well, it's all about looking at what my clients want. I'm serving my client, not the other way around. I wish Congress would realize that too. They're serving us, not the other way around.
Yes.
But we serve our clients, and we make sure our clients are protected and taken care of and have no worries as they approach retirement and go into retirement. We call that the financial red zone. So if you're in that financial red zone, which is 5 years out of retirement, I like to say age 52. Because I'm 59 now, and about 52, I started worrying about retirement. So I'm using the Coach Pete meter right here. And the Coach Pete meter says at 52 and above, you really need your own total retirement plan, which looks at what you have now and translates that to lifetime income for you and your family. So if you don't have that, you need it, call right now. We'll put one together for you, a total retirement plan at no cost or obligation.
Ready for questions and answers. This is fun. It's been women and money. If I say it too fast, I think women in money. But we're going to talk about some financial challenges that each of us have had. I have Miss Jana, Miss Amanda, I'm Jackie, and Coach Pete. Yay, Coach Pete.
Hello.
It's going well, don't you think? What a fun series.
A guy can't complain when he's surrounded by three beautiful women. can he?
Aww. Flattery gets you everywhere.
Yes.
Yeah. Flattery gets you everywhere, and confidence in money gets you a long way. I think as I get older, I get a little bit more confident in it, and kind of wrapping up like what we've talked about. It's just the hard stuff is what I call it. These are the hard things that you have to face through the stages, and you just have to. You have to approach it. You have to hit it dead on and handle it. And once you handle it, you check in with Coach Pete once a year to go over your plan. And then your plan is doing its job all by itself.
There's a phrase I use, and when you guys think about it, it'll make sense. Confidence with evidence.
Oh.
So my clients are confident because we have evidence.
Yeah.
The evidence is they have a total retirement plan. They've got their long-term care taken care of. They've got all their bills paid for. They've got their estate plan handled. That's confidence, and they have the evidence. So confidence with evidence. And once you get that into that level, you're fine.
and no one, you're bulletproof almost, emotionally at least. If we can make your money bulletproof, your emotions get bulletproof too.
Even better.
Sure.
Confidence with
cool.
evidence.
Dice takes care of Amanda's anxiety.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
But
can put
don't-
we're going to work with you. We'll get you all set. We
I'm
got that
just-
wedding to plan now. We're not going
Yeah.
to get in the way. We'll let you spend what you need to spend. But
Yeah.
then after that, we got to roll our sleeves up.
Buckle down.
So you got to have some fun in life. If you never have fun, then what are you here? So you got to have some fun, have some goals, but just know.
So we didn't have those conversations at the dinner table when I was we didn't have those conversations at the dinner table when I was growing up. So I think the hard part was knowing, like, oh gosh, I gotta. At the time when I started my Roth, it was I had to put $4,000 in a year, and
Fantastic.
and max it out. So it was like, that's a lot of money at that age. But I just worked hard every month to divide it out and to max it out, and said that was what I was going to do. But I think my regret is not sharing that information with other people coming up, because you just don't know what you don't know, and you don't also know if they're going to receive it from somebody your age. Like,
That's
are they
so
going to
true.
listen to you? I
We're
don't
putting
know.
together a course now. It's going to be a bunch of different.
And I'm like, if you don't like your life now, like this is what you'd have to make every year to even be able to afford this lifestyle, then you better be a doctor,
Wow.
lawyer, or surgeon or something to be able to afford this. And I think that kids these days don't know where the money comes from, how the money gets spent,
True.
and
Yeah.
just what it takes to live. And I think, so to wrap it up, and what I was trying to say is the regret I have is not being harder on being more of a friend than a coach to the younger people in my life.
Yeah, but we're going to make it easier with that series. We're going to
Let's
come out
go.
workbook series for.
But I feel you on will they listen to you? I feel like even in broadcasting, in general, and being in radio and having blonde hair, they never listen to me. They think,
Absolutely.
Well, I get the
It's
feeling people don't
tricky.
listen to me
Confirm.
sometimes
Yeah.
too on air.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
our points are relevant and very important, and a lot of
Yeah.
people just ignore them, I guess, and think everything's going to be fine. Ignoring this problem is not going to make it go
No,
away,
right.
and financial problems get worse. Sort of like having cancer, it's going to get worse, not better, over your years.
Unless you take steps, yes.
Take a big step and address it and accomplish it and conquer it, and then put you in control.
I was the complete opposite of Amanda, and I still kind of am. I don't want to be bothered with the details. I really don't.
Just handle it.
Me on those huge years.
Where to put
it
the money?
away.
Don't take me on those huge years.
Where to put the
it
money?
away.
Don't take quite so many trips.
Yeah.
And I had a lot of clothes.
But you have a lot of good
Yeah.
memories
Stupid
too.
stuff. I have
So
good
those are
memories.
priceless.
That's true.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
really, I can't be mad at you for
I
spending
know,
money
and
there.
I don't regret it, but I
Yeah.
can't imagine. I didn't start a 401k until I met my husband. His dad is a accountant and whatever, he's doing our taxes. He goes, "Wait, can you give me your 401k information?" I was like, "I don't have one." He goes, "Well, doesn't your company match?" I was like, "You know what? I'm not super sure, but let me look into that." And so I was 31 until I started a 401k.
Yeah, but at least you
okay.
started.
All right.
See, the
That's
secret
okay.
is to start. I don't care what age you are. It's to start. Start a 401k, start your retirement plan,
Yeah.
start your long-term care plan, start something today. Don't wait till next year, because next year might not come, and if it does, it might not be the best circumstances. So let's get things done now while the water's calm,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
you guys, I want to know from each one of you the financial challenges you've had or faced over the years and how you overcome it.
Oh,
How you
go ahead,
overcame it.
Tana.
So what about you? How did you overcome your financial? What were they and how did you overcome them?
You need a minute? I've got the worst one. Yours
ahead.
can't be worse than mine.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I
Mine, I
racked
mean.
up a horrific amount of credit card debt, and I was in my 20s, and we already said I'm living the high life here, and I was wearing the clothes and the shoes, and it was a fraud because it was all mounted on a credit card, and I didn't pay the balance when it came. I didn't even I paid the minimum, and that accrued. It just racked up. And one day I remember I opened the thing and I would have anxiety, and I looked at that number, and it was a 5-figure, and it was a big number.
It's like getting a report
and I
card in the
remember
mail.
thinking,
Yes.
oh my God, this is half of my income. What am I going to do? And it's, I'm getting a chill because American Express basically called me and was like, "Do you have any scissors?"
Yeah, cut the card.
Cut it up. But that was my biggest wobble and embarrassment. And I didn't tell anybody because I was so mortified that I had let it get out of control that I didn't want to call Jackie and say, "Hey, I know you're smart about this stuff." I didn't want to admit it to anybody. I wanted it to die and go away.
What
Wow.
lesson did you learn from that?
Holy cow, if I can't afford to pay this credit card off this month, don't buy it.
Yeah,
If I couldn't
that's
pay it in
great.
cash, I can't pay it on a
Yep.
credit card.
Great lesson to learn. And I don't think you should extend a car loan any longer than 4 years, by the way.
I
People are
agree
doing
with
5,
that.
6, 7,
Yeah.
8 years.
Oh,
That's
72
crazy.
months.
So really, if you can't afford to pay cash for it, you really can't afford the car. But
Yeah.
my max loan's always been 3 years. 3 years, because
Yeah.
that's bad enough, right? But
Yeah.
you see some of the folks, they're on their 4th car, after they started buying overpriced cars, and they would drive for 2 years and then trade it in for another car.
Roll that
So
negative
now that
equity.
fourth car has a value, let's say, of $60,000. Yet their loan they owe is $80,000 because
Oh,
it's
boy.
all
So
the
you're
other
paying
bills
all
on the
the
cars in there. So
depreciation.
be very careful about toys. Toys can get you in a lot of trouble, especially expensive man toys, we call them, like
I was about
cars.
to say, they think
but
toys
women
are for
fall
the
for that
boys,
too.
but
Yeah.
But clothes for women, makeup,
It's
clothes,
true.
bags.
Shoes.
Yeah.
You know, we all, I have a daughter. I know she's 20, so I know exactly what you guys are falling for. And don't feel bad, because Madison Avenue spends millions of dollars a day to get you to do the bad things you're doing.
No.
I was
So the
influenced.
secret is, my mom taught me this a long time ago. When we go in the store, we didn't have much money. She said, keep in mind, little Peter, little Pete. She said, Petey, what she's calling me, Petey, is you have the money and the stores are trying to steal it from you. So she said
like
that.
that. She's smart.
And we
Money
go
in
in the
your
store,
pocket.
and I still remember that, because your money goes, well, you ever broke a $100 bill before? How fast does it
gone.
disappear?
It's gone.
So money goes a lot faster. How
Once
long
it's
did it take
broke.
to get that $100 bill? A lot
Yes.
longer than it took to lose it, right? You go to McDonald's a couple times, the $100 bill's gone these days. So be very careful about how you spend it. But Janet, you learned your lesson. And
was
so
a hard
then
one,
when
yeah.
you got, so you probably your credit had to recover a little bit after you
You
paid the
bet it
bill off.
did.
Your credit score went down, but now you build your credit back up. And
Yep.
when you charge something now, what do?
Pay it off,
Pay
as,
it
soon
off.
as soon as the bill
Pay
comes.
it off. See, I think it's
Get your points.
Wall Street Journal called me the credit card king in 2012. They wrote an article about me because I said I like to charge a lot, but I pay it off at the end of each month, and therefore your credit score gets higher and higher.
That's the tricky
and you get
part.
more rewards points. So
There
you can
you
be a
go.
credit card queen
Yeah.
by charging but paying off.
Yeah.
Charge it, pay it off. I remember the old Flintstones episode. Betty and Wilma got credit cards, and I remember them saying, charge it. They run to the store, and then Fred and Barney kept getting the bills. So even back on the Flintstones, they were saying, don't charge on credit cards.
Oh, that's
All right.
great.
What about you, Jackie? What's the biggest financial challenge you've had? Or are we done with yours? Is there part two for you?
Yeah, I just feel nauseous, so let's move on. Let's
Is
move
there
on.
a part
from
two?
No, there's not.
So, but you overcame that.
I did, and it hurt so badly that I can feel it all
Hurt
over
so
again.
good, we say.
And I vowed never to go back. So
Somebody
I know
sung a
what you
song
mean.
about that. Hurt
Yeah.
so good. All right, so Jackie,
Okay.
what was the biggest problem you had or financial challenge you had, and how did you overcome it?
Mine is the saddest story here, probably. But a man of God told me once, you're here on earth to learn lessons. So I've learned a lot of lessons.
At your own expense sometimes.
That's right. And I married a boy toy a little bit. He was 7.5 years younger, and he did not have very good responsibility around money. The one thing he did teach me, which was good, is that we bought a business.
Oh,
I
what kind
know.
of business did you have?
Bicycle shop.
Oh. Did you sell new ones or did you service old ones?
Oh, all new, the people
The
who were
real fancy- those
retired.
fancy bikes?
Yes, and it was a great
Spent
business.
a lot of money on a bike.
Yeah.
these days.
and all that
they're
stuff. But he liked to trade some of the bicycles for other things, and there was a little bit of
Nose candy stuff?
I don't know if it was that or he just wanted to get a new car, and then the mechanic, right? And the
So he's doing a
mechanic
barter system.
bartering.
Yeah, bartering.
it's called embezzlement, I believe.
Embezzle borrow.
Oh, gosh.
Embezzle barter.
That's right. I just wish I would have known these things and had,
Right.
the separate and had a, you know what I mean? I
Yes.
wish I would have had a partner
how did
too.
you discover-
It's embarrassing to tell someone, parents-in-law, your own family,
Yeah.
whatever, that you've gone through this great misstep.
How did you
Right.
discover that he was doing this stuff?
I told you the saddest story on here today. Upon his death at 39 years old,
Oh gosh, that's
Gosh.
so young.
7 days away from being 40.
How did he pass away?
He took too many of those funny pills that the doctor gave you, the oxycodone. Remember during the oxy time when
Gosh.
Michael Jackson and the the
How'd you
oxy?
meet him?
I met him. He was a ski patrolman.
Were you out there skiing? Were you a ski bunny?
Can we make this a whole separate episode? I feel like this needs to be.
insane.
I told you it was going to be the worst story.
Where were you? Were you skiing out in the mountains
in
somewhere?
Vail.
Oh, Vail.
Yeah, I worked for a broadcast network, and they allowed me to work in Vail. So
You know what just stuck out to me though is you used the same word I did, that you were so embarrassed. You didn't want anybody to know that you
It's-
had financial
and
issues.
we need to get past that because if other people hear the story, they won't do the same thing usually, right?
yeah, but that was a different era. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? This information just wasn't available to me. I wish I
Yeah.
would have. And some of the things that you talk about, this lifetime income and all that, those savings vehicles and distribution vehicles are new and have really neato tires and
they're
great
great.
bells on the bicycle and ding dong. It's just some bells and whistles that.
Financial products
Yeah.
get better every year, just like new cars do. Like the 2020 car is not as good as the 2025 cars are full of those bells and whistles these days, aren't they? So the financial products are better and better these days too. So if
Right.
you have an older product, 4 years or even 3 years or older, it's time for review because there might be some better ones out there. Plus, a lot of them I've seen lately have a lot of financial termites hidden in there. Those are unnecessary fees, risk, and commissions that are embedded into your plan that you can't see. We can see that. So we can do an analysis for you. All right, for you.
Okay. Oh, gosh, there's so many. I think my biggest regret is not having the confidence to ask for a raise, and because you're paying yourself. And I allowed people that have worked for 20 years. I've worked for so many companies, done so many things, sang at the bars in Nashville.
I love the Nashville bar scene. It's fun. They're like different bands everywhere. It's cool.
Real estate, wholesale. I've worked everywhere. And I just never had, I always was so scared of the backlash or the getting fired. I can remember the anxiety of just like going in and just having the gumption to go in and say, you know what? That raise is going to pay for my retirement. That raise is going to pay for the things that I want to invest in. And I just always thought I couldn't do it. And I finally I just did it. I just started going and saying no. So I don't have that regret. Get what you're owed, y'all, so you can invest that money.
I would say to know your worth. How's that?
Yeah,
know your worth.
Yes.
Know your worth, because you're worth a lot of money at the place you're at now.
Well, and everybody is. And I think that if you have experience, life experience is enough. You know, I hear some women say to me all the time, well, I've only been at this job 5 years. But I'm like, well, wait a minute. Overall, how long have you been in working
this field?
You're 40 or you're 50. Get what you're worth. Don't let them hit you down on that. And then use that money to invest.
Save it, yeah. Put a plan together, because then you can retire sooner too, if you want to. You can either retire sooner or keep working and build up even more money. So that's a good problem to have.
Yeah.
Should I retire now and have a great retirement, or should I work longer and even have an even better retirement? So that's a good decision, A or B, right?
Yeah, A or B.
That's a good A/B decision.
Well, and if they're not,
We'll see you sometime, folks. Give me a call. Let's get these books in your hand. Let's get that knowledge in your hand, and more importantly, let's get your life in your hand.
How much of your Social Security income could potentially be taxed? If you know the answer to that, you could be the recipient of one of Coach Pete's free books. Isn't that right, Coach?
Yeah, we've got 2 books we're going to give away. You get your choice. You either get the big book on retirement, which is over 300 pages, one of the newest books I've written, and the absolute newest book I've written is Tax Savvy Retirement, over 200 pages to put you in control of the tax man before, during, and after retirement. Very good book as well. So you'll get your choice if you answer this question correctly.
All right, so this is the question. How much of your Social Security income can potentially be taxed? And here are your options. A, 25%, B, 50%, C, 85%, or D, the full 100%. Text or call your answers in to the numbers that you see on the screen and win your copy of one of Coach Pete's latest best-selling books. Welcome back into our series on the big book on retirement. I'm Thomas Lipscomb here alongside the author himself, Coach Pete D'Arruda. Thank you for joining us once again in our series, Know the Fundamentals.
Yeah.
This huge, Coach, Know the Fundamentals. Everybody seems to have their opinion on financial planning today. You can go to 17 different websites and they're going to have their little section on this or that with their opinion editorials. I don't know if half the time they're actually written by an advisor. But let's talk fundamentals.
Yeah, very important. I mean, if you watch any sporting event, you can tell the teams that the coaches spent a lot of time making sure that the players understood the simple tools and techniques, and then added to that.
That's good.
If you try to jump in like up here and you didn't learn down here, you're going to quickly fall back down. So building blocks, fundamentals, especially in retirement. What are some of the retirement fundamentals? Making sure you minimize your risk, minimize expenses, maximize what you're saving, maximize your income, have that autopilot where you never have to worry about outliving your money, and you've got at least that amount coming every single month for the rest of your life. It'll never be less, could be more. Knowing if you pass away, your spouse is going to be taken care of. Knowing when you and your spouse both pass away, your kids or grandkids are going to be taken care of. So there's a lot of different check boxes we go through.
nothing you really have to worry about. You can read about it in the book, or you can get your own plan done with us at no cost. But
Well, and that's kind of the whole point of all this, isn't it? You know, we talk about financial planning. You can get into the weeds and know all of these terms and what's going on here or there. But at the end of the day, most people just want to walk on the beach, want to swing the golf club, throw the the rod out there and try to catch something good, go flounder gigging, you name it. Like most people don't really want to know this, but at a certain point, you got to find someone you connect, trust with, and make that one decision to get the plan. Because like you said in our last episode there, once it's done, it's done.
Yeah, we're more than happy to give you all this behind-the-scenes information, by the way. And you can put it in a file. You might look at it someday, you might not. But we have it all backed up. But we put all the important and pertinent information on a one-page plan for you, showing you in color, different colors, what it really means to you.
Yeah.
What's my lifetime income going to be based on what I have right now? What are my expenses going to be? And of course, the income better be higher than the expenses.
Exactly.
And so if not, we could tweak that. And so that's why it's important to be honest when we talk about what do you like to do in a day, a weekend day. You like to play golf? All right, we need to put a price to that. Then we need to factor inflation in. What's that going to cost in 10 years? Oh, you like a cart? Well, a cart costs more money, right? So, you lose 10 balls every time you play. Well, we need to factor that in. So these are all things that we go through because you don't want to be surprised down the road.
Yes, that's right.
And so fundamentally, we go through everything and make sure that everything's in place.
There you go. That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
You know, you got a great quote here from Jack Nicklaus talking golf. Learn the fundamentals of the game and stick to them. Band-Aid remedies never work.
No, duct tape.
Isn't that nice? Yeah, duct tape.
Yeah. No, I mean, but it's such a great solution that we have. There's no need to be cutting corners.
There you go. Yeah,
we
I
can
love that.
put you in control of retirement with the money you already have put aside, by the way.
Yeah.
You're not going to have to come up with money. It's already there. Let's just make sure it's in the right place.
There you go.
That's all we do.
Folks, the time to act is right now. Connect with Coach Pete's fiduciary team with the information that you see there on the screen. Get your questions answered, but even more important than that, let's get that plan. Take that worry, as you like to say so often on your radio show, Coach. Take that worry out of living in retirement.
Yeah.
And folks, we'll see you for Chapter 7 here shortly.
Hey, I'm Coach Pete DeRuda, president of Capital Financial. Folks, the financial world is very, very confusing. That's why we put together a series of educational videos called webinars. You can see them at any time by signing up at CoachPete.com. We'll see you there.
Welcome back into our series on the Big Book on Retirement. I'm Thomas Lipscomb here once again alongside best-selling author Coach Pete DeRuda, having a great conversation with you here as we're walking through this series. And Chapter 7 is all about understanding the end game. And I like this because, you know, when it comes to retirement planning, something that you've talked to me about, Coach, is you want to understand an individual's dreams, aspirations, goals in retirement, and you can sort of work backwards from that based on what they have.
Yeah, and it's a fun process to find out what you really want to have happening in your life, and then we can work backwards, and we can, for most times, tell you that's possible if we do certain things now.
There you go.
We move this money there, and we put that money there, and everything's fine now. And so it's not about just hoping everything's going to be fine. We can give you a seal of approval telling you it's going to be fine. That's a big, big thing right there, because now you have a team behind you telling you everything's going to be fine.
Yes.
Instead of saying, well, maybe, perhaps, likely, could be. I don't like any of these kind of words. We want definite words with definite positive for you.
Exactly. And the end game doesn't just end or apply there. You know, I hate to bring it up, but one of our colleagues here, Bruce, had a friend who poorly took out funds from a 401k and didn't invest them back in and was hit with that huge tax penalty.
You talked about that on the radio show a couple weeks ago. He asked me a question from a friend. And you have 60 days once you take money out of your own IRA to put it in a different IRA, or you get that tax bill. That money becomes taxable. So you got a 60-day clock. Or if you have it electronically done through a planning organization like us, it's done automatically. You don't have to worry about it. So the burden of proof lies on the institutions, not on you when you have an institution help you. Like that.
That's
so
good. That's
again,
good.
that's a big time bomb for folks if they do the wrong thing with money, or your money in IRAs. When you take that money out, you're going to have to pay tax on it, unless it's a Roth IRA, which is tax-free. If you have a Roth and a regular IRA, then people say, well, which account should I start taking money out first when I'm in retirement? My opinion, if you got some money growing tax-free, keep it growing tax-free. Take the money out of the taxable accounts, keep that money growing tax-free over there, because the good thing about a Roth or life insurance, when you pass away, that money goes tax-free to your next of kin.
Yeah, so powerful, so powerful.
It moves on tax-free, doesn't disappear. You know, that's good. And you don't even have to take it out if you don't want to.
No, it's true. Well, and we've just talked about a couple of situations here, but throughout this retirement transition, there are so many of these exit strategies that you need to have in place.
Yes.
Even into retirement, Coach, I think about laddering strategies, bucketing strategies.
Yep.
Technically, these have exit strategies at each point as well that are, you guys are always tailoring these, aren't you? Every now and then just updating, making sure everything's heading in the right direction.
32 years I've been doing this, Thomas. 32 years I've seen about any kind of situation you could ever imagine.
Yeah, I bet.
So that's why it's good to go, like when I go to my doctor, he's been around for a while, and so he's seen, no matter what I say, he's seen it before. He doesn't have to start Googling. You don't want your planner learning with you, in other words.
Oh, man.
And so we've seen the mistakes people have made, and our objective is to make sure you don't make those same mistakes.
There you go.
And, you know, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. But a genius learns from other people's mistakes. Well, we'll learn from other people's mistakes to put a plan together for you that makes a lot of sense.
Very
That's what we
powerful.
do. Yeah.
Very powerful.
So get your own plan now. There's no cost or obligation. You've got the book. The book is a great tutorial, by the way. But then you can have the teacher, the professor. You can meet with the professors and me, who I've educated all my advisors. They understand every tool and technique in this book.
Yes, absolutely, without a
Call.
doubt.
Let's get a plan put together and put you in control of retirement where you never have to worry about income again.
There you go. Now's the time, folks. Take action. Call the number you see on your screen. Text us, email us, whatever is easy for you. But the important thing at the end of the day, start the conversation.
Yeah, get started. Get started. Don't be afraid. It's nothing to be scared of, and we'll make it painless as possible.
As painless as possible. And
There'll be no finger pricks.
I'm turning the page, Coach. Coming up next, folks, we are discussing the next section, tactics. Stay tuned.
Hey guys, it's Parker Holland here with Capital Financial, Chief Wealth Strategist. We always like doing case studies on the radio, and now you guys get a visual representation on one. So we're going to use real cases, of course, no personal information, but these are scenarios we put together for clientele that we're looking for that safe, reliable, guaranteed income, but also the legacy. So we call this a spend and leave plan. It means you kind of set up a strategy, live off the icing, don't touch the cake, and we're going to give you multiple scenarios of how these actually work. So for the first case study we had come in was actually a radio listener a couple months back. They were currently age 54 and 55. They were targeting retiring at age 60 for them both. Now, of course, when there's an age discrepancy, there's layover months. That's not an issue for us. We're looking at the year in which they're both turning 60. So we had about roughly $2.5 million in retirement savings. This is a combination of IRAs, 401ks, Roths, after-tax funds. So this is just kind of giving you a big picture lump sum. So we're not going into a lot of the tax planning here. We're focusing solely on the income yield. Now, the benefit of this plan is there is not a risk-tolerant custodian. So instead of having a 401k like Fidelity or Vanguard, we use companies like Nationwide, Athene, North American, A+ rated insurers. So in this scenario, that million, based on this A+ rated company, got a 30% bonus, which pushed the insured value to 1.3 million. That's 300 grand going towards their retirement income, no matter what the market does. Now, when we run worst case scenarios, we're talking about 0% market return. Absolute worst case. And then we run age of death, we just always look 30 years out. But the beauty of these plans is the strategies and such we target continue beyond. Now, I mentioned 30 years out, but we're talking about 30 years of income. So what we're targeting is once they're at that age 60 mark, the spreadsheet ran out at 34 years, but these are the numbers we're looking at. That means that the income received, worst case, no matter what the market did, would start at $90,000 a year. So they put in $1 million, they waited 5 years, the 1.3 guarantee would produce $90,000 a year at age 60. That means, yes, they would spend down the account by age 94, but they would still be getting this income as long as one of them's alive. So to kind of recap that, they'd get $90,000 a year, And even if they hit a $0 nest egg, they would still be getting that income. Now, we all know we'd have bigger issues if there was 0% returns for close to 40 years in this example. So let's run actual market performance. Well, the market ranges normally between 7 to 15%. Now, a lot of calculators are going to do a calculation saying, hey, it averages 10% a year. Well, that's kind of the middle ground. And it doesn't do 10% a year compounded annually. It does 10% annualized over a 30-year window. So we're going to have years of 0, and we're going to have years as high as almost 50%, but it normally ranges between 7 to 15. So same scenario, same age of death. The difference is the income would start at $100,000. But the kicker is, over the course of their life through age 94, it goes as high as $250,000. So this income increases and compounds year over year. And all of this is under a spend and leave model. Live off the icing, not touch the cake. That means that $1 million investment, not the total 2.5, just the million, based on market returns, would grow to over $4.5 million at death. That means they took out close to $4 million themselves and still had 4.5 left, assuming the market did what it's done over the last few investment cycles. So you guys want your own plan, you want your own strategy, give us a call, shoot us an email, go to our website, send us a text, and we'll run the numbers for you.
This big game, every move counts. Plan wisely to win the match. Sidestep the unexpected and charge towards your goal. Navigate through the challenges. Retirement is your end zone, and the touchdown is within reach. A successful retirement is your championship. Let Coach Pete design your customized income game plan today.
All right, we are going to kick this off strong. Inaugural episode of The Wide World of Investing. I'm Thomas Lipscomb alongside Bruce Rosenblum, leading the charge best-selling author, Coach Pete DeRuda. Now, Coach, how did you dream this show up, The Wide World of Investing?
Well, this is a wide world of investing, isn't it? You can invest in all sorts of things these days. When I was little, I had a coin collection. I still have it.
Yeah.
That's an investment. A lot of people invest in coins, Bruce.
Indeed.
You know, a lot of people invest in silver and gold.
We started tempting our children. My dad did actually with the 50 state coins, and just to kind of start that process.
Collect them all,
Yeah, so it makes sense, doesn't it? All right, you invest. A lot of people I've talked to invest in wines. There's a big market. There's wine auctions at Sotheby's, the big old snobby auction firm, right? And then you can invest in bourbons, like Pappy Van Winkle, these kind of things. They go up in value.
Baseball cards,
what you
sports
do is
cards,
you
everything
can't
else,
open sports cards. I mean, what else? Dominoes, Legos.
It's true.
You name it.
Legos for sure. Yeah.
Rock'em Sock'em Robots. If you have unopened one of those original games, like Hot Wheels,
right?
Yeah.
Classic Hot Wheels.
There's that show on the Public Education Network, some kind of road show. They would go around antique road shows, and they would find different antiques. People invest in antiques. But you go to a lot of people go to estate sales to find things that people don't value right. You know, think about it. Have you ever had anybody pass away in your family?
Yes.
Have you ever had to go and clean the house out that they left behind?
I actually have a story to go along with that. My great aunt used to own a retail store in a downtown neighborhood here for years and years and years, and she dealt in collectibles. And so when she passed away, her children were able to go into these warehouses, as it were, and imagine lunch boxes from the 1950s or dolls from the 1940s, still in the box. Yeah, sure. Yeah.
I went one day. I said, "This isn't for me." I did get a baseball card out of it. A baseball too, but. How do you value things the right way? Because that's when the sharks appear, when they assume you don't really know what it's worth.
That's true. Yes.
We're working on a new proprietary program with a different firm now that will enable you to have an app on your phone. You can take a picture of whatever the item is, and it'll tell you what the value is.
Yes,
this will make it a lot easier. But that's a different story and a different show. What I'm talking about here is there's values for a lot of different things. There's different ways to invest. The investing we always have been brought up to know about is stock market.
Of course.
This is probably the number. And then crypto is investing too. You're investing your money
investments basically mean you take your money and you give it to somebody else for some item. That's investing.
Right, sure.
So it can either go up or down. The person who is selling it to you is hoping that they've made money too. And they're hoping that when they sell it to you, it's going to go down in value, because if it's going to go up, they would have held it. Or maybe they need the money. So one of the things we're going to talk about here, we're going to concentrate on all different investments. We're going to talk about the stock market every now and then. We're going to talk about crypto. We're going to get CEOs on from different companies or people that invest in different areas that we've never heard of, and try to educate you as a general public of places that you might not even know that are good for investing.
That's right.
You might be sitting and feeling like you're in poverty right now, but you may be in a house that's loaded with things that are worth a lot of money, but they don't have much value to you because you don't really know what the value is.
Yeah, that's good.
So, right, Bruce? So one of the things that I've done here lately is I've been out trying to say to myself, how can I have the great first show for the Worldwide Investing Show?
Yeah.
And just came across my desk this company named Venue from J.W. Roth. Venue is a company that starts these outdoor amphitheaters, but they're VIP amphitheaters, and they have amazing amenities there. And it's like first class going to concert, because like JW has said, JW Roth is most of the concerts you go to now is warm beer, standing in line, being at like a single A ballpark in baseball.
Sure, yeah.
So he said, what if we could VIP that experience? And we're going to end the show today with an interview that I just had in Wall Street. We went for the opening bell this past week and watched J.W. Roth ring that opening bell, and the stock symbol, VENU, has been launched. Let's go to that interview right now, and folks, we'll see you on the next show. Folks, it's Coach Pete here. I'm live on the floor of the New York Stock Exchange with Mr. J.W. Roth, who has just launched his public traded company, Venue. JW, welcome in.
Coach, it's good to be here.
See you, man.
It's good to be here.
It's a fun day for you.
It's a fun day.
You rang the opening bell today.
We rang the opening bell. We opened the New York Stock Exchange. It's just funny, you know, when you're a kid or you grow up and you always think of the New York Stock Exchange and how you picture it.
Yeah.
Then you get in business and you start to dream about how, you know, where your company's going to ultimately go. But then to actually do it, to stand out there and ring the bell on the New York Stock Exchange, it's surreal.
It's pretty amazing.
It's amazing.
You look like a pro up there doing it.
Yeah, well, listen, I got him fooled. I got him fooled.
Now, all right, let's take a step back. Tell me how you got started in the business world.
Yep.
Let's do that. Let's do a quick history here.
Yep.
A couple minutes.
Yep.
Because that'll help, I think, folks that are watching. It'll help them understand who you are and why you're doing what you're doing now.
Yep. So, you know, I did not start in the hospitality or entertainment space. I'm the founder at Roth Premium Foods. My background is all agriculture and in building food lines. So Roth is a prepared food manufacturer, I think about the third largest in the United States.
Wow.
We build for almost every grocery store in America, and we do. And I started Venue. And the idea was, as a music fan, I've been to venues all over the world. And I can tell you that they're old, they're dilapidated, especially live music venues outdoor, like amphitheaters.
Yeah.
Most of them are 40, 50, 60 years old. And so they lack a lot of what the fan is demanding. Think about the NFL and Major League Baseball. It's kind of who I copied. I took a page right out of their playbook. I looked at them and said, look at what guys like George Steinbrenner did, or Jerry Jones and the Dallas Cowboys. You know, he took old, dilapidated stadiums, worked with municipalities, and built unbelievable experiences and unbelievable ambiance in stadiums now. So now when you go to a football stadium, you're not out there drinking a lukewarm beer, eating a lukewarm or cold hot dog.
Yeah.
You're going out there and you're enjoying club service and all of the things that go on with the stadium. I wanted to do that in music. So I started going around the country, hired Ryan and company to start putting public-private partnerships together. And this last summer, we opened the most premium amphitheater ever built in history. Ford Motor Company put their name on it. It's the Ford Amphitheater in Colorado Springs, Colorado. 92 fire pit suites, beautiful owners clubs. It's an incredible place. Today, on top of that, we have another $1 billion or so of construction going on throughout the U.S. in 5 different markets as we build amphitheaters. We're gonna do in music with those two guys, and I admire both Steinbrenner and Jerry Jones, what they did in football and baseball.
Yeah, amazing business people.
Unbelievable business people.
I've been to the Colorado Colorado Springs location, folks, amazing.
Yeah,
the
it's
fire
incredible.
pits, just an amazing place.
It's incredible.
You don't even think you're at a traditional concert.
You know,
anymore.
Ryan Tedder is interesting. You know, Ryan Tedder, One Republic, he stepped out on stage. He sold out 3 shows for us this last summer. But he stepped on stage and he goes, geez, I feel like I'm in Dubai. You know, all of the fire going on and the fire pits going on, and it's incredible. It creates an unbelievable vibe and an unbelievable ambiance.
Yeah, so, I mean, this idea, though, came, like, let's build amphitheaters? Or, I mean, that's what you said.
Here's what I said.
Okay.
I said, I'm a fan.
Yeah.
And I'm tired of the venues that I go to, and they're terrible. Yeah. But I go to football games and baseball games, and I'm thinking, man, these are nice. I could do this. So when I left Roth Premium Foods, I left for one specific reason, and that is to disrupt the venue space in live music.
Disrupting, because some of the, like the Major League and football places, their video screens are better than the TV at home.
No question. No question. And the food is unbelievable. I mean, you have 5-star restaurants now in baseball parks. And so, you know, we built the Seafood and Chop House in the Ford Amphitheater in Colorado Springs. You know, it's a 5-star seafood and chop house inside of a music venue.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Instead of hot dogs and a slice of pizza.
That's right. That's exactly right. No more hot dogs and slices of cold pizza.
All right. So now you got the idea. Let's build big amphitheaters and let the people to come. But how did you get the financing in place? Because that's a big proposition. You see all the NFL teams and Major League teams. They have to really consider building something new these days.
I mean, it's tens of millions of dollars to build these, and so. Basically, there's 3 parts to my financing strategy. First is the municipalities have to participate. So that we're building there. It opens for the 2026 season. It's beautiful. If you've not seen what we're doing down there, it's incredible. But at the end of the day, you could never make it pencil if it wasn't for really forward-thinking municipalities like the city of McKinney. Mayor George Fuller, he's a forward-thinking mayor. He's a wonderful man. And he, you know, in his way of thinking, he brought the city council along, and next thing you know, they're supporting it. We have great fire pit suite owners down there. We've got a good friend in Troy Aikman. Troy Aikman's a Hall of Fame quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys.
Yes, he is.
He and I partnered on 8 as Cowboys.
Yes, he is.
He and I partnered on 8 as a 5.
Was that a B?
With a B, in the net tangible assets. And so, you know, at the end of the day, we are focused on our balance sheet, and as a result of public-private partnerships and mark-to-market valuations, we're gonna cross that number this year.
Now, someone who's just finding out about venue for the first time, and they say, "Gosh, how do we get an amphitheater like this in our area?" What are the steps you've been doing, and where are you going next?
Yeah, so, you know, right now we're finishing up amphitheaters as we build down through the Tulsa market and Broken Arrow. We'll be in Oklahoma City market. We're building the Dallas-Fort Worth market in McKinney, which is an unbelievable venue. Getting ready to start our construction down in El Paso, venue. Getting ready to start our construction down in El Paso. You know, it's interesting. El Paso is such an interesting market. People think of El Paso, but they only think of kind of north of the bridge, right? Listen, south of the bridge is just as big of a market. Latin music has exploded.
There you go.
It has exploded.
Yep.
And that market has exploded. And so at the end of the day, I tell people all the time, don't count El Paso out as might be the most profitable venue we build in the next 10 years for that exact reason.
When is that on the schedule to come out?
We're booking it, and it will open in 26. So we're about 15 months out.
Well, let me ask you this. If people stop liking music?
The world ends, right?
Yeah.
If people stop liking music, I think the world just ends. It's the only thing I can think of that is unifying, right? At the end of the day, 2025, again, for the 10th year in a row, it's the #1 leisure activity in the world. In the world is live music. So bigger than
that band live. And it's a totally different experience. It's so much better, isn't it? Live?
No question.
Yeah.
It is live music is no question.
Yeah.
It is live music is I tell people this all the time. Live music, and everybody that's watching this they know it's ever not 100 years.
Getting better and better, isn't it?
It does get better. Right?
Yeah.
There's a point, though. I think there's going to be a point where live music even expands. So live music today is usually enjoyed. We're together and we're at a venue. But I see the day coming where live music will be enjoyed virtually in the sense that pay-per-view or live music events that's an audio.
Like a 3D room kind
like
of
a
thing?
3D room.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
see that coming someday.
Well.
We'll see what happens, but
with AI, you never know these
I
days,
think
huh?
with AI, I think
Yeah.
you're going to see that happen. Yep.
Wow, that's
And it's
pretty
exciting.
good. Where'd the name Venue come from?
Well, here's what happened. The company started off, I named it Notes Live. And Notes is obviously music notes, right?
Yep.
And Live is what we do. So Notes Live was the name of the company. I started dealing with the New York Stock Exchange, and we started looking at symbols. And Paul Dorfman said, you know, some of the coolest companies in the world, the name of the company is also the symbol. You know what I mean? And so there's some thought that a lot of companies then put into that. So we started disrupting the venue space. We are well capitalized. We have strong shareholder base and support. And I am committed to building a balance sheet and a P&L. So at the end of the day, you would be investing in a space, the music space, the live music space, that is exploding. Never been a time in history where the demand of tickets has been higher than it is today, and there's never been a time in history where the supply of new artists is higher than it is today. So here you've got an industry with the high demand, high supply. We are the exchange. We are where fans and artists meet, and nobody is doing it better than we are.
Symbol's Venue Live, by the way.
Yep.
Great symbol.
Yep.
Venue
Yep.
Live.
Yep.
Now, somebody who wants to invest in one of the new places you're building, is that possible for someone to have a stake in the next amphitheater?
Absolutely. And we have a great team that does that. Go to our website, venue.live, as Coach said. And when you go there, you can click on investing and you can look at all of the venues that we're building any place in the United States, and it will give you information on that. You can also come to our offices, whether here or in Dallas or wherever, and use virtual reality to actually sit in any of our venues, or buy a ticket and come out to the Ford Amphitheater this summer and catch a great show.
I saw the Steve Miller Band last year. Really good band.
Steve Miller Band was a great show we had this year, but we had just so many great shows. A fun place.
So someone should come and look at it because you can actually invest in one of the VIP fire pit
That's right.
spaces, right?
Yep.
Right, and
Yep.
is that a lifetime ownership when you invest?
It is lifetime ownership. And I
Wow,
tell
that's
people this all the
yeah.
time too. At the end of the day, the best way to understand what we do is to experience what we do. And the best way to experience what we do is come sit in my suite at the Ford Amphitheater.
I did.
Yeah, you
Awesome
did.
place,
Dang
awesome
right
place.
you did. Yeah.
J.W. Roth, folks, and the symbol is venue, and then the website venue.live.
Venue.live. Love to have you shareholder.
Always great
Coach,
to see you.
thank you.
Yes. See you later, folks.
Bye-bye.
Hey, I'm Coach Pete Deruta, president of Capital Financial. Folks, the financial world is very, very confusing. That's why we put together a series of
On retirement, maybe you've started reading it. Well, we are here. I'm Thomas Lipscomb. We're here with best-selling author Coach Pete Deruta, who wrote this awesome book. And I thought maybe for this first little dive through the book, we could talk about why you wrote it. But folks, just in case you're wondering, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be going through this book chapter by chapter and getting a little bit of a, let's call it behind the scenes of the writing process, the intentions behind it, all that jazz.
This is book number 18 that I've written.
Yes.
And you know what happens a lot of times? I know it happens. People have given me books before. Somebody gives you a book, maybe a couple books you wanted to read. You haven't read them yet, so you say, I'll read this sometime.
Sure.
It gets put on the bookcase.
Yep.
And then it gets forgotten.
Yep.
So these are really good tools and techniques in this book. We're going to go through every chapter telling you why it's important, but you can really act on these tips and tools to get a better retirement. So that's why we wrote it. I didn't write it just to write a book. I've got plenty of books. I don't need any more books. But we wrote this for a very important purpose, and that's so you could understand how to really plan your own retirement.
It's true. And you've divided it into 5 key sections. You have game theory, tactics, offense, defense, and the 2-minute warning.
Yeah.
I love how you made this analogy. You know, you call it the big book on retirement, but you've made this great sports analogy here where you're kind of taking every element and comparing retirement in that way.
Well, there's a big game every year. We can't call it. It's a football championship. If you say the name, you have to pay the NFL.
I like Campbell's tomato soup, Coach.
Super.
It's super.
Yeah. So, but we all watch it.
Yes.
And the commercials
charge a lot of money for the commercials.
Oh, yes,
but
they're so good.
it's the same theory, though. It's two teams going against each other. Sometimes you can tell one team was more prepared than the other.
No doubt.
We want you to be that team that's prepared to play offense all the way through retirement. In other words, doing what you want to do on your terms. And that's why I wrote the book. So I hope you enjoy it. We're going to tell you why each chapter is important, but skim through it. Find some chapters that interest you. If you have any questions or if you want your own plan done, we're always available to do that. That golden ticket you have there, you got with the book, will show you how to get that appointment at no cost and put you in control of retirement. So it's all about having that game plan and mastering it and putting you in control. And that's what we're going to do with the book. We're going to tell you about each chapter, how each chapter can benefit you as well. Coming up.
Pensions and Social Security are guaranteed income streams for retirees. Unfortunately, pensions are a thing of the past, and Social Security may not cover all of your expenses. However, there's another strategy that can help. Dating back to ancient Rome, annuities are a savings vehicle that have helped many people on the road to retirement. In modern times, they provide a conservative savings strategy that might be right for you.
Quite simply, an annuity is a savings account offered from an insurance company. Now, there's some bells and whistles, and there's some things you need to know before you get into an annuity. Annuities are there for you for retirement. That's what annuities were designed for.
There are three main types of annuities: variable, fixed, and fixed indexed. They have some important differences, each carving out their potential place in a retirement plan.
First one is a variable annuity, which in my humble opinion is one of the worst financial instruments ever designed. Why? Because first of all, it doesn't provide you with safe money. Unless you start tacking on riders and this and that, and every time you add something on with a variable annuity, you start basically pushing up the cost. On average, the average variable annuity that I've seen in my lifetime has been with fees of 3.5%.
Variable annuities are tied to an index or a stock market or a mutual fund type account where your money can go up, but it can also go down. So to me, a variable annuity shouldn't even be considered in the annuity world, because to me, annuity means safety and should have that financial confidence all the way through retirement.
Then there's also your fixed annuity, which is kind of like a CD on steroids, generally 3, 5, 7 years.
5%, 5 years. At the end of 5 years, the term's up. You either take your money and go home with it, or you take your money and renew it again. So that's cool. Then we have a fixed indexed annuity. Now your money is not in the market, but it's tied to an index that is market driven. So the beauty here, since you're not in the market, you never lose money. The market goes down, you get a zero that year. The market goes up, you share in the gain. Market goes down, you get a zero. You see, it's a lot easier to recover from a down market if you had a zero and not a negative 30, 40, or 50. And a lot of people have experienced the negative 30, 40, or 50 right before they were going to retire, and they couldn't retire.
So which, if any of these strategies, are right for you? They come with some distinct advantages and disadvantages over other retirement savings vehicles.
Now, the disadvantages, it does not make as much as what the market does. It's a little bit off on the market, where if the market on average is 8 to 10% over the past 100 years, an index annuity is running 5 to 7%. So you do give up a little bit of earnings on that. Actually, I don't look at it as being tied down. I look at it as being protected.
My period of time is a lifetime income, so we use these for retirement. It is in effect a pension account. The minute you retire or decide you want to start taking money, you get a lifetime income you can never outlive, even if your balance goes to zero. You pass away, your spouse continues to get that same income until they pass away. Both of you pass away, whatever balance is in there goes on to the next of kin or wherever you decide to go, churches, charities, wherever you want. In other words, you do not lose your money when you die. The old annuities of the past, the minute you died, the money went into the insurance company's pocket. Common misconception these days that Wall Street likes to push, because if they can get you not to put money in an annuity, they keep it under their management at risk. They make a lot more money in fees, expenses, and commissions, whereas you should have some of your money in a place where there's no fees, no financial termites, we call them, fees, risk, and commissions, and give you that lifetime income that you and your family deserve.
It's important to get the facts straight about all the different planning strategies at your disposal. That's why you should work with an independent fiduciary advisor. Coach Pete and the team at Capital Financial can help you navigate the financial world to get you where you want to be in retirement. Take advantage of the no-cost, no-obligation financial review to understand the ins and outs of your retirement plan. a customized plan based on your wants and needs. Contact us today. Also, be sure to like this video and subscribe to this channel for more retirement help.
What do you think is the number one tech aspect that's going to change the way everyone listening does what they do in the next 5 years?
You know, it's been in the news so much, but quite frankly, I don't think people take it as seriously as they should, and that is AI. And AI has, since its introduction into the marketplace, it's just made huge leaps and bounds. But what most people don't realize is it's been in development, in serious development, for 40 years. Billions of people are using it a day. It gets really sophisticated really fast across cultures, and it is going to radically change our landscape in the next 5 years. A lot of jobs that are done today simply aren't going to exist in 5 years.
Yeah, that's so. What makes you happiest about this, and then what makes you saddest, and what scares you the most?
So the happy thing to me is it's called artificial intelligence, and I really wish that they would rename it to assistive intelligence. I use it as an assistant, and it's an assistant that I have to train, I have to correct, I have to review what the assistant gives me. And as long as you interact with this artificial intelligence platform, whichever one you want to talk about, in that capacity, it makes me very happy because it lets me get easily 200 to 300% more done a day than I do without it. Saddest is that I do believe, even though I'm telling you where it's going to go in 5 years or so, I think it's oversold today. But you're starting to see AI in everything. And AI certainly has its place. It has its place in a lot of devices. You know, some of the things that we might talk about, like lawnmowers, that were introduced at CES this year. You roll the lawnmower out, it gets the weather forecast, and it might say, you know what, I'm going to put off mowing the lawn until 3 o'clock because it's supposed to rain.
That sounds like I used to do, but I just put it off for a couple of days.
Yeah, exactly. You wouldn't go back out to do it.
Yeah, right.
and you might say, hey, there's HOA rules that only allow us to mow, between 8 o'clock and 11 o'clock in the morning, and we can't do it on Sundays. That's off limits. So it could ask you some questions like that, and it could learn. And then, by the way, if it happens to be mowing your lawn for you and it's geo-fenced, because it will do that, and it finds something peculiar in your yard that you weren't expecting, well, not only will it document it, it'll mow around it, and, if it could do something to take care of the situation, it will, but otherwise, at least it notifies you there's a problem. Now, for remote homeowners, this is great, because after it mows your lawn, it goes back and parks in the recharging station, and it's ready to go again.
Hey, all right, so what is the scariest thing to you about AI going forward?
The scariest thing to me about AI is when it gets into certain applications that it shouldn't be in, and that there's nobody checking it or verifying it. For people that don't recognize that it's not perfect, it gets you in a lot of trouble. In fact, there's been attorneys, because quite frankly, AI today is great for law, but there's been attorneys that have used it in brief, and it's made up information that's just not correct.
Oof.
And it puts it in a brief, and let me tell you, a judge is not very happy when that happens.
What do you think is going to be in the, let's say in 2 years from now, what from CES is going to be almost a household item, do you think?
Smart city technology integrating with smart cars. We're seeing road signs that automatically update based on road conditions, accidents, and things like that. They start to detect backups, and they reroute traffic automatically. But now with smart cars, you're getting those messages because it knows your route. In fact, I've got a 2026 model now, and I don't even have to tell it when I'm heading home. It knows. It updates the route if there's any problems, and it gives me my ETA. So now when my wife calls and says, when are you going to be home? I could say, 13 minutes. But we are going to see traffic lights get smaller or be removed overall. And that's where we're going to start to see technology migrated into vehicles that are predictive as cars enter intersections. They know what cars are coming what direction, and literally they're going to thread those cars together. And so if you happen to think about traffic moving without having to stop, it changes fuel mileage issues, pollution, gets you from your point A to point B more quickly. But I'll tell you what, first time we do that,
whew,
I don't know how I'm going to feel about that one.
Yeah, I'm not going to look.
We are going to see driver-based cars go away. And a lot of people don't believe that, but it's the insurance companies that are pushing it. They are 100 times better at driving and having fewer accidents than the best human that they can compare to. Now, you tell me what that does to insurance companies and everything else. It will be here.
You know, but to me, insurance companies then should charge 100 times less, but they won't.
Exactly.
Because I don't know why they're mouthing off, because they make a fortune charging people all sorts of rates. When like if my neighbor has a wreck, I get charged more. You know, that kind of thing.
That's exactly right.
So to me, they better be careful what they wish for. They're going to do that FAFO kind of stuff, and they're going to be out of business when no one's having any wrecks.
In addition to that, what we're going to start to see is shared vehicle services, where when you want to go somewhere, it shows up and takes you there, and then it drops you off and goes and gets somebody else. So you won't have to really wait. But that's not that far down the road either.
It's almost, I mean, it sounds cool and it's great for technology in the future and all that, but I kind of like the freedom of doing what I want to do whenever I want to do it. I think we're going to have to overcome that with the more of a automated and structured society going forward, it looks like.
Well, the technologists have been, this is one of the issues that technologists and psychologists have been analyzing. But yeah, there are shifts like that are going to occur. But right now, the thinking is it's going to open you up to some things that you've always wanted to do, but you didn't have the time to do.
Yeah, you're right.
And so, like you said, you might want to cruise around and listen to tunes. Well, now maybe you want to cruise around and just look at the sunset driving down the beach or going through the mountains or in the countryside, where you're not driving and you don't have to pay attention to the road. Guess what? Now you could have the bottle of wine open, right? Because there's no more open container restrictions. But they've been printing food, 3D printed food, for a while now. And a lot of critics are saying, you know what? They've gotten to the point that you really can't tell the difference. So now they're starting to print skin, for example. So if you've got a bad burn or something, you need a skin graft, no problem. Blood vessel from your own DNA technology. They are working on right now, and they think they're less than a few years away from heart and kidney. Yeah, that is probably, to me, one of the most exciting things that really has been progressing well and was a big hit at CES this year.
Longevity will go up tremendously if you could just print a new heart out instead of getting a pacemaker or anything like that. I mean, just put a new one in. That's yours, and it won't be rejected because your body will think it's the same one. All right, let's talk about the robotics real quick. What are you thinking there?
So we are starting to see humanoid robotics, and the real progress has come out of Japan. Japan has a major healthcare issue with older folks. And one of the things that they found out pretty quickly was the robots did a much better job with the care than the humans did, because the patient can be as grouchy, as insulting, or anything else as they wanted to be, and the robot doesn't have an emotional response, right?
I hear you. Yeah.
But what they found was, in order to get the human to engage with the robot, they had to put a face on the robot. And the more human-like they made the face, the more humans engaged with it. Well, it got to the point, even in its infancy, with faces that sort of looked human, they weren't great, that the healthcare patients wanted the robots instead of the humans. And you've got robots that are lifting 600, 1,000 pounds, moving it around in a warehouse type setting. Move over to the next booth, and they've got an exoskeleton that you could strap on for people that are quadriplegic or paraplegic that does the brain or eye connections to be assistive technology about 20% of the CES floor these days.
They say sex sells, man. I'm telling you.
It
You know, I'd
becomes
like a
technology.
Emeril Lagasse chef robot, and he'd like say "bam" and then bring my food to me. You know, like remember,
Right.
or Chef Ramsay one that's cussing in the kitchen and bringing you good food. Beef Wellington.
Program it any way you want to.
It's just amazing, man. You know, it's also worrisome at the same time because a lot of careers are in jeopardy now when these robots can do such a great job. And all you do is, I guess, how long do you have to plug them in, or how long does like one of these robots go without a charge, and how long does it take to charge them?
Coach Pete, oh man, I'm shaking my head now. No, they decide when they need to be charged based on what they see the workload to be, and they take the break, if you will, and go charge themselves.
Wow. Okay.
Now, do they need to do a fast charge, or can they shut down for the night because you're not going to need them for the next 4 to 6 to 12 hours?
So if they charge too fast, does it become a smoking break?
Smoking break.
It's not good. That's a good one. I like that.
Well, man, we're going down all sorts of rabbit holes here with all this stuff. It's amazing. It really is amazing. We're in a
do a quick glance and passing, you won't know that it's a robot. They're that good.
But remember, there was a movie probably about 25 or 30 years ago. Michael Keaton. It was Duplicity or something, where he invented like 5 or 6 robots that looked just like him. So basically, he just sat home and he sent them out to work and do all the hard stuff, and he took all the credit, made all the money. And then the robots started getting mad at him, though. They started getting smart on him. You remember that movie?
Ganging up on him. Yep.
What if we could just invent a bunch of Coach Pete's and send them out all over the place?
I only have one question.
Yes,
Is the world ready for that?
Welcome on in. This is Women and Money. Jackie Selby, I have the beautiful Jana Asplund and Amanda Daughtry. Hey, hey, hey. And of course, the one and the only Coach Pete DeRuda. Hey,
How you
Coach
doing?
Pete.
Good to see you guys.
How are you?
This is going to be fun because we did one of these about 6 or 7 years ago, Women and Money. But times have changed. And that was
haven't they?
pre-COVID. So after COVID, things have really changed. So I thought it'd be a good time to get my all-star cast together.
All right.
And let's have a conversation. If you're a woman watching, this will be good for you. It's good to because I know that life gets in the way a lot of times, and we shift the burden and responsibility to planning for money to the other spouse a lot of times. Not the best thing because we need to know what's going on.
So true.
If you watch this series, and we've got some handouts for you too. If you like it, well, there's numbers on the screen. You can get more information. But if you can watch this series and have a pretty good mastery of what we're talking about, you'll be all set in retirement. Or on the way to or through life, but you'll have a good retirement too.
Sure.
Yep.
And I think this is a fun representation of generational ladies here. We have, maybe, is it okay to say Amanda might be the youngest gal?
No, I'm 40.
Okay. Maybe I messed this up.
No,
Janice in the middle.
Janet's in the middle.
And then I'm the elder gal here on the
And
set.
I'm not mentioning anything about any ages right here now. I'll keep
I know
myself
you
out
would
of
be
trouble.
like,
Coach Pete
no,
knows how
we're
to
not
stay out of
doing
trouble.
this. But I feel like we're at different stages in our
We are.
lives. Don't you feel like?
We definitely are. It was so funny when you said we started. I was in the conversation, the original one, 6 years ago. And 6 years ago, I was still in my 30s. So that'll give you a hint. But also, I had a 2-year-old.
Yep.
And so as you were talking, I was like, oh my gosh, just personally, how much has changed for me in 6 years? 6 years, I didn't pay as much attention to what you were saying because I was in the throes of it like you are. I was in the trenches. Every day was hard, and I was just trying to get through it because I had 2 little kids and a full-time job. It's still hard. I'm not quite in the trenches. But today, I have probably way different questions than I would have had 6 years ago.
Well, look at this. Between 2018 and 2023, women's wealth has risen 51%. That's from a survey by McKinsey. So that's, global wealth only rose 43%. So women are out wealthying. Is that a word?
Yeah, out earning.
But unfortunately, we're trusting the wrong people to make the decisions or to be the decision maker. So it's okay to have somebody in the family be the decision maker, but everyone in the family needs to know what's going on.
Yeah, and women are generally the caregiver, let's be honest. Yes. And we're also planning for the future for, let's say, my grandparents or my dad, or where are they going to live? Are they going to live with us? And so now we go out of the little kid stage, which I'm in right now because I have a 3-year-old, and then I'm going into my dad's going into a rest home type stage. So it's like, boom, it all just continuously hits you. So how do we stay disciplined in this type of environment to continue to save?
Yeah.
Do you find it interesting when folks come to meet at Capitol that it's maybe just the man who kind of takes the lead and the woman fades to the background on the decisions or the explanation?
That happens more than it should. And then later on, sometimes the lady may have questions, but they're overlooked by the man sometimes. And he said, it's okay, we're going to be fine. I want to make sure both spouses are fine before we go forward and I sign off on a plan. Because if it doesn't make sense to one, it shouldn't make sense to either.
Well, it's a lot of information. And like Amanda said, we're used to thinking about other things as women. So,
Well, part one is you need to find somebody you can trust and work with. And
that's for sure.
Whether it be a man or a woman or a team of people. We have a team here. We have men and women on our team. But and so we don't tell someone you can't meet. If you want to meet with a woman only, we can set you up with a woman only to meet with. I just think it's better to get everyone's perspective. We do a team philosophy here, so you'll meet with one person or a team of people, but then the whole team gets together and works on your plan.
Sure. Team and a plan.
Yeah, because so we do team here, so it's hard for me to understand. Like you said, when the man and woman will come in and the man asks all the questions and basically the woman feels like she's not even allowed to talk. That shouldn't be that way.
Annoying.
Because as a man, you see that.
All the time.
As a man, I know you guys are gonna outlive us.
Yeah.
And my wife is 7 years younger than me, and usually you guys outlive us by 7 years. So my wife has a pretty good deck of cards in her hand.
Well, especially when you're bringing a significant paycheck to the table.
Yes.
It's kind of like, where's my voice? I want to be heard. How are we investing? I want to diversify. I want to put my funds in different places. And the man's like, no, we should do this. So I think that when you have someone like you in place, someone like a Capital Financial Advisory Group, to sit down and say, hey, this is really the smartest thing to do. This is really the smartest thing to do. And that kind of takes the tension out of all of the planning, I think.
The best plan is one where you have a coach who's laid out the big game plan. So I'm the financial coach, lay out the big game plan, but you're the quarterback. And you have two quarterbacks. You have the male and the female, the husband and wife. And so you guys are the ultimate ones making the plays.
Yeah.
I've helped you design the playbook. It's up to you to run them the right way. And unfortunately, a lot of times, the man takes over and throws the playbook away for the woman, right? So we want to make sure both of you have the same playbook.
I think sometimes it's really uncomfortable to take the first step, though, because you either show up to a situation, whether you're buying a car or a house or coming here, and they immediately look at the husband or the male partner. You know, if the two of us are sitting there and they have the whole conversation with my husband, and that really trips my trigger because I want to say, there are two people contributing to this household income. You either get that, or you're so intimidated, you don't really know you don't want to look dumb. And so you really hesitate to make that first step because I don't want to look dumb. I am a feminist. Do you know what I mean?
Let me tell you from the guy's side why and I see it too. I see the bad side too. I see what happens. I see when the guy just concentrates all on the guy, like the guys are just having chit-chatting about fishing and all that and golf. And they're basically not paying attention to the woman. The other side says that if you are there with your husband, Eric, and I look at you too much, Eric might get mad at me. And so you might start thinking that I'm, trying to kick you under the table.
Never consider that.
So that's what goes through my head because I don't want the husband thinking I'm hitting on his wife, in other words. So we have to be careful on that too, so as a guy. But I like to get both husband and wife involved, and I make sure to ask questions of both of them. And then when the husband answers, I say, well, how does that make you feel, Jana? And that's something that's overlooked a lot of times. How does it make you feel? And what do you want to feel in retirement? So these are all big questions that we have to factor in when we're putting together the proper plan.
You don't mind if we start a few questions here, Coach?
I love questions.
Okay, good. Does it surprise you that women are surpassing in the wealth area?
I hope not many guys are watching. No, it doesn't surprise me at all. Women are very smart when it comes to money, and matter of fact, make better decisions than men many times. There's my man card.
Right. Uh-oh. Better turn it in.
No, women are on top of things a lot of times and want to learn, but a lot of times they're sheltered from it and not by their choice. Jana, in your life, I mean, now you're busy. You're both
incredibly
busy.
busy.
Women.
So
like all
busy.
three, you're busy working women. Back in the day, my mom took some time off from work back when she had three boys. I was the first one, but then she had to go right back to work because you have to make money. And so, but she was more worried about bringing my brothers and I up and working than she was about having to manage the household. And my dad had a computer store and he was a college professor. So both of them were busy. And many times you felt like as a kid, we didn't have any money. It is because we didn't have much money. But my mom and dad made it, somehow got all three boys through college and succeeded. But lately, my dad's passed away now, but luckily I've been able to help mom navigate the situation. And I had a book called The Little Green Book of Life. And and it's 100 pages of interactive questions and answers so you can write down where your life insurance is, where your money is, where your passwords are, your obituary. And Dad did fill some of that out, so it made it a whole lot easier. So if you'd like to get a copy of that Little Green Book of Life, it's on Amazon. Just look up Little Green Book of Life on Amazon.
I've given it to everybody in my family.
Yeah.
Yes.
The thing I like about it is, ladies, we are going to inherit a whole bunch of money from our parents.
Yes, we
Are
are.
we?
Yes.
Hopefully.
And you know how Coach Pete was talking about his wife is 7 years younger, right? So maybe you might pass first, we don't know. But anyway, so she's going to get his money, and then she's going to distribute that money to the children. So think about the impact of that.
Yeah.
Generational wealth.
And I have life insurance that's going to give her tax-free money, too, to do stuff with.
Oh.
So tax-free, that means get out of the picture, Uncle Sam. You're not invited to this party.
You have to call Coach Pete for this.
But
This
a
is
lot of-
amazing.
Step into my office.
Yeah, a lot
See
of
what's
people
happening.
might be changing their mind on how they're going to plan in the long term because of that. They're thinking
Yes.
down the line, like, I might inherit my husband's parents' home, or he might inherit this, or we might. So how does that impact how we plan long term? And I think if
ma'am.
women start thinking about that earlier, that's the goal, is to get them to one up them, to raise them up, say, hey, you need to start thinking about this in your 20s and your 30s, and don't depend on other people that aren't doing it to give you advice on it. You got to depend on somebody like Coach.
Yeah, and a final point before we move on to the next segment.
Sure.
Because we're living longer. Men are living longer too, but women, you guys are living a long time.
Yeah.
We need to make sure we have income in retirement that's going to last the rest of our lifetime, not just for the first 10, 15, 20 years, but forever, because you could live to be 120. You could be good to 130, Jana. You never know. And so, but what if your money ran out at 83? What's happening then? So we set up guaranteed lifetime income plans. I'm a retirement income certified professional. RICP is the designation from the American College. I am trained to make sure people do not run out of money in retirement and have lifetime income that could increase, never decrease all the way through their life. And check this out. When you start getting that income, let's say it's a husband starts getting the income and he passed away, you continue to get that same income all your life too. So it never goes away for both spouses. So
what I'm talking
if you're
about.
curious about that, you see the number on the screen, give us a call. We'll set up a time where we can diagram out where you are today and see where we could be tomorrow for you, where you could have a worry-free tomorrow.
Great. That's the first step to take, and we will be right back with some psychology of money and a little bit more fun here on Women and Money.
Hey everybody, it's Coach Pete with Matt Scuderi. Matt, thanks for coming today, by the way, appearing here. We're going to go over 9 ways to protect your nest egg, which we have them golden eggs because every single portion of your portfolio, to me, should be treated as gold. What do you think, Matt? There's a lot of people making mistakes out there in the financial world, so we're going to do this very informal type seminar here in the form of a webinar. We call it Info Series, just to educate you on 9 things you need to be paying attention to. We've jotted down some notes here to make sure that we stay on track, and we're going to try to do this in 30 minutes or less for you, so it's not going to be a long one. If you have more advanced questions, you see the chat button there. It's always going to be available if you have a question for us. If you'd like to request a meeting, because you're attending this info series, there's no fee or obligation if you'd like to have your questions answered or request a meeting with one of our professionals, either in person or on the phone or on Zoom. It's amazing what we can do these days.
Yeah.
I used to, back in the 90s, I'd get in my car and go to see people at their kitchen table. And so we're available for that too, by the way. Never had more fun than visiting people at their kitchen table and going over things. And I ate real good too, by the way. And sometimes I'd be there during dinner time. But number one, and these are things we need to identify, taxation. Yes. Protecting your retirement from tax burdens. Matt, you talk to folks every day. Are taxes a worry for folks?
Oh, yeah. It's the number one question just about every single time.
Yeah, especially when we talk about withdrawing money at retirement time, because that's when we figure out the real tax time bombs we have.
Oh, yeah.
Many people, many of you watching right now, probably have a lot of your money in 401ks, 403bs, TSAs or tax sheltered annuities or whatever, like different things out there. And some of them have more tax advantages than others. And then there's something called a Roth IRA. We're going to talk about a Roth later on here in this series. But just knowing what the taxation is going to be on your assets before you start taking it out, that's a good way to have a good plan. Because if you're not aware of the taxation, and how much you're going to lose for taxation, and you get to retirement, you lose a lot of money, you don't have enough to pay the bills. Matt, very important to have over and above what we need for the bills, because we want to have fun during retirement. And one of the main reasons we can do that is to minimize taxation.
Absolutely. And I think, kind of to your point, is we want to make sure that we know exactly what the tax brackets are now.
Yep.
And always, of course, looking to the future so we can plan accordingly.
We call that tax planning. So we look ahead. I mean, no one knows what the rules are going to be in the future, but we know about almost 25 years now. So why haven't the financial institutions done a better job explaining that to folks?
You know, they just recently started allowing it to be an option in 401ks.
Yeah, very important. So if you have a 401k, make sure you take advantage of your Roth option in there for some of your money. Now, here's why people don't like the Roth.
Yeah.
Put the money in, you don't get a tax write-off.
Right.
We put money in our 401k, our traditional 401k or 403b or even IRA at the bank. We like to be able to deduct that money from our taxable income that year.
Yes.
But the problem is once you do that, you're creating a tax time bomb. We're going to talk about that later on today, too. So we need to diffuse that tax time bomb and divide our money into proper places, and we can help you with that. All you have to do, though, is if you have a question, let us know. But very important, though, to pay attention to what the Roth IRA is, what it could do for you, and there's some other tax-advantaged vehicles out there in the financial world. If your advisor has not explained these to you in detail, you really need to have a thorough review to make sure you're in the right place. Best time to find out you're in the wrong place is today. So he gets to them. Matt, what happens in between when people die sometimes and the money passing on? Some bad things do happen, don't they?
Yes, it can just get tied up, and now that's just causing headaches for your family.
Yeah, or you could get sued. So, a delivery man could be coming up your stairs at your house, fall down, sues you because you're in a nice house, maybe not even a nice house. They just sue you because they want to sue you, and they take all your assets. They find out you have some retirement money. They can sometimes get to your retirement money. So you need an umbrella policy. So make sure you talk to your insurance agent who sells you your car insurance and your home insurance, and make sure that you say, how much is an umbrella policy for $1 or $2 or $3 million? What an umbrella policy does, if somebody sues you, the umbrella policy will kick in and protect you. Do not tell anyone if you have an umbrella policy because they will sue you to that amount. So be very careful on that. But umbrella policy is very important. Utilizing the proper insurance. Also, having proper life insurance in place can give a tax-free asset to your children and grandchildren that you don't have to worry about that's not going to be lost in the stock market. If, like, let's say we have a market crash a couple years before you pass away, and half your money disappears and then you die.
Right.
Well, if you would have a life insurance policy, it would help make up for those losses in a tax-free manner.
Yeah.
How many questions do you think you get a week about life insurance? Probably not enough.
Not too many, honestly.
Yeah.
And I think it's mainly because most people don't realize the certain tax-free aspects of it.
Oh, man, it's amazing. Now, if we go over $10 million or more in life insurance, we need a special life insurance trust called an ILIT.
Right.
But for most of the folks watching this, $5 million, $6 million, $7 million, very, very affordable. And we're going to tell you later on how the new life insurance policies let you use the death benefit while you're here to pay for your long-term care stay. So stay tuned for that. That's very important.
Yep.
But if you have any questions about life insurance, about tax-free passing of assets, how to make sure you have that proper division of your money and in between taxable and tax-free and tax-deferred assets, and what are those three qualifications? A lot of folks don't understand taxable, tax-deferred, tax-free. We'll go through all three of those for you if you would like to do that in person. Customized to your own portfolio, because it's one thing for us to talk about it here. It's another thing for people to really see it with their own eyes. So very important to make sure you understand there are people. Here's another thing. I've had people for nursing home protection. They've met with certain people who have advised them to delist all their assets and list them in their children's name instead, or their grandchildren's name. So you say, well, then you can qualify for Medicaid because you don't have any assets anymore. The problem is you have a lot of money. You've retitled into your children and grandchildren. Now the government knows you do this too, so they have a look back. It said, so if you do it within 5 years, they'll find it. But let's say you do it, and you're not worried about the government finding out or whatever, and you leave your assets to your daughter. And your daughter is getting ready to get married, and then she gets married, and then they get a divorce. She gets half. She gets all your money, but the spouse, which is the former spouse, takes half your money and leaves. Let's say that your daughter gets in a wreck, rear ends somebody. It's all her fault. She was on her cell phone or whatever. Maybe she'd been drinking or whatever. So big lawsuits happen. Yeah. And she gets sued for all the money that you gave her retitled in her name that's really your money. She loses all that money. So there's a lot of drawbacks to retitling assets. Be very careful on that. You've heard probably these stories too, right?
Oh, yeah. All time.
Yeah. Number 3 now, we're going to move right into nursing home disasters and make sure that we plan ahead for this. Because we're going to have a graphic here, Matt. Let's look at this graphic right here on screen. The annual cost of nursing homes has gone way up. So look at how far it's gone up. So back in 2014, now this is for a semi-private room, about $75,000 a year. Now, to me, I've worked all my life. Now I have to go to a nursing home. Do I want to be a roommate again? I had a roommate in college. I didn't really like that too much. But look, now we're way over $100,000 for a semi-private room, and that's per year. So what I advise is look at long-term care insurance. Take the policy away because you can't afford it anymore. So
The only way that I've advised, and I've done a lot of these, I've done one for myself, is to get a special life insurance policy that lets you use a death benefit while you're here. It's called a living benefit rider. They add it on your policy. Many times, folks, it doesn't cost you any more if you have a current policy right now and it doesn't have that on there. You can get the brand new policy without it costing you a penny, because life insurance rates have gone down over the years. So you can get a better policy many times that has the long-term care option, where you can use the money from the long-term care policy to pay for that long-term care.
The ability to reach in and grab more.
Yeah, it turns into life insurance. And you also can live on some of it. If you set it up correctly, you can have a tax-free retirement account. We can show you how to do that too. So there's no better product than a life insurance product. But there's so many different companies, and many of them aren't good. So make sure before you get one of these, you make sure you get the best. These are A+ rated companies. Don't go for these B companies, folks. Our policy here at our company, we never recommend anything below A-. We want to make sure the company's there when you need it the most. This is the best known solution to the long-term care dilemma that I know. All right, so very important to make sure that you understand exactly what's going on in the financial world. And when we have new policies like this life insurance policy, Matt, back in the day, life insurance was a lot more expensive than it is today, because we're living longer and they've adjusted the rates downward. So you may be in a policy now that not only does it not have that long-term care protection, but it's costing you more than it should.
Too much.
So let's at least analyze, do a review. I've met with so many people over the years who bring their policies in. They didn't really understand what they had. Had one person thought they had a permanent policy. It was a term policy. So if you have a term policy, it'll pay a death benefit within a certain term. It's not a bad thing. It's affordable. It doesn't cost much, but you're only renting the insurance. Because at the end of the period, you have to requalify many times, and you have to pay more premium because you're getting older, and insurance companies know the older you get, closer you are to not being here anymore. So again, get a permanent policy as early as possible. I mean, at your age, Matt, it's probably very, very cheap. I'm 58. It's a little bit more expensive, but you know, the best equity you have when we're talking about life insurance is your health. You may not be able to qualify tomorrow if something happens. So that's why we want to get it and put it away and forget about it, because it's there for you when you need it the most. You can also borrow against your life insurance policy's cash value down the road, but we don't encourage that unless you really need it. But there are a lot of great strategies out there. Well, you can be your own banker, basically. But make sure you get the right policy, folks. If you have a question about that, or if you'd like to get a quote, or see what it could mean for you and your family, to take that worry out of not only living through retirement, but living with the health scares now. You don't worry. If you have to go to a long-term care policy, you can pick a better long-term care facility. You can pick the best place, because now you have almost unlimited cash flow when you think about it from some of these policies. So find out about that. Very, very important.
Coach, we've got some questions from listeners. We're going to spring them on you. I hope it's okay.
Oh, question. Okay, good. Awesome. Oh, and by the way, all you have to do to have that question answered is to see that chat button there on the screen. Type your question in. You can put your name if you want, if you don't have to, and we'll answer it for you.
This one's interesting. They say they have a lot of assets but no retirement income. Say they're a little bit worried about that. What could they do?
So a lot of assets. See this a lot, but no income. Because the 401k, the 403b, most of them I've seen don't show you what you could get income-wise from that policy or for that amount you built up, and it sure doesn't show you that it could be guaranteed for the rest of your life. So there are ways to have proper income planning done. You've done a great job building that money up. Let's make sure you don't lose it, number one, from a market catastrophe. But number two, once we get to retirement, Matt, let's make sure we know with certainty what we can take out per year and never run out of money. When I say never, I mean you have 100% certainty of never running out of money.
Absolutely.
When we do the Wall Street models, there's something called the Monte Carlo simulation. It basically says you've got all this money in the stock market, leave it there, so we can keep making fees on you, basically. Leave it there, and then you can start taking out a certain percent, sometimes they say 4% of this money each year, and you've got about a 92% chance of not outliving that money. Now, Matt, what's the zinger in that whole phrase? 92%. It has to be 100%, folks, or we, as a fiduciary planning firm, we can't recommend it. So that isn't the proper strategy. The proper strategy is to pare some of that money away from the market, put it into we call it a GPI account. You put it in an account that's going to grow. It's going to protect that growth. So when you have growth, it locks into growth. And then whenever you choose, it'll give you a lifetime income you can never outlive from that balance. And some of these numbers, the withdrawal rates are 6, 7% compared to Wall Street model at 4%. And the 6 or 7% is guaranteed never to go away. And here's another thing, for both spouses.
Yeah.
You could have an IRA, which is an individual retirement account, and you could have your spouse on there. So if you pass away, the spouse continues to get that income.
Yeah.
It's a magical thing, folks. You have to see it to believe it. So make sure, whoever wrote that in, make sure you get your own customized plan. Anybody else who wants here, based on the lump sum that you have, we can show you what kind of lifetime income you could be getting. Hey, does it hurt to see?
No, not at all.
I mean, it's enlightening a lot of times. We've had folks that come in and say, gosh, I could retire tomorrow based on these numbers.
Yeah.
They were thinking they had to work longer. So a true income plan. I'm Retirement Income Certified Professional, RICP. That's from the American College. I'm trained to offer lifetime income. I mean, it's 3 intensive. You seen the course load? 3 intensive courses, 3 intensive exams. And I was one of the first RICPs when it came out about 10 years ago. And a lot of the professors I've had on my show, my radio show. So it's pretty cool. But it works for you folks. And the magic thing is to put you in control of your retirement. And that's what happens. It gives you a peace of mind now. You're not dependent on the stock market. We leave some money in the stock market. So you've got your income plan over here. You've got your stock account over here. Stock accounts can, and we recommend taking more risk than ever in a stock account after you have your safe income plan put together. So you could get a lot more money in the market. Even if the market, well, you lost all the money in the market, still have your lifetime income plan. Folks, it gives you peace of mind, and that's our goal for all our clients, to give them peace of mind to and through retirement. All right, now, inflation.
Oh boy.
Not anyone's friend.
No.
We've talked about inflation forever. I've had 32 years I've been talking about it with clients, 21 years on the radio. Nobody paid attention, Matt, until a couple years ago.
Right.
When we started having let's look at this graph right here, folks. The inflation graph. This is what we call buying power. And I like to say, what if you had a big $100 bill in your pocket, and every year it just starts shrinking. And as it shrinks in size, it shrinks in buying power too. But look at what we're talking about. This is $100,000 right here. And what's happened over the last 20 years is the $100,000 purchasing power is now about $50,000, Matt. So you've lost half your money without doing anything bad. This is where you just had it. Maybe your money wasn't keeping up with inflation because we've had a high inflation rate lately. We always aim for at least 3 or 4% return per year to combat the normal inflation, but you have to have accelerated inflation coverage too. We saw 7, 8, 9% inflation.
It's a silent killer.
Yeah. And so then we have something called shrinkflation. That's where they shrink the size of the item you're buying, but they raise the price. The double whammy in the wrong direction. So, again, what can we do to combat this? Well, number one, we need to make sure we don't lose any money. Number two, and when I say not losing money, I'm not just talking about the stock market. We're going to talk about this in a minute. I'm talking about financial termites. And that's risk, fees, and commissions you don't need to be paying. You may be in an account where the person who put you in there is making a lot of money every single quarter on you, and you're not making anything, or you're not hardly making anything, or you're not keeping up with inflation. Get with us for a true inflation-protected plan. If you'd like to get an example, again, based on your numbers, which I always recommend, in your income plan, you see the chat box here. I'll complain about it. We could put a plan. I'll complain about it. We could put a plan together that helps us be in that top 10% of people who understand it, and also their plans will counteract inflation. So very important, Matt. Another thing is litigation. This is our 5th point here. Litigation means, we talked about this briefly.
Yeah.
We can do everything perfectly in life, and somebody can still sue us. We don't want to be sued. Or a divorce. It's litigation. You build a plan for both you and your spouse, and everything will be fine once you get to retirement, but then you decide not to be together anymore, so now you need 2 houses. You need 2 loaves of bread every week. You know, that's 2 different refrigerators, right? So whatever, and you leave them beneficiary, and you pass away, and your children get the money, and the other spouse that's leaving the family, they take half with them. So there's a lot of stuff we need to set things up correctly. You can do this in special trusts or beneficiary designations.
Yeah, and I was talking to someone the other day. They had their 3 kids on there, and he was like, that one hasn't talked to me in 20 years, so I was just like, we got to get that fixed.
So review your designations, your beneficiary designations each and every year. I know it seems tedious, but sometimes we forget. We've heard stories before where someone did get a divorce and they never adjusted their beneficiary designations, and then they got remarried and they still had the old spouse as a beneficiary on your life insurance. And it's hard, very hard, to get that reversed if you're passed away.
Yes.
So your ex-spouse could benefit. So another thing is TOD and POD on your accounts. Transfer on death, TOD, is for brokerage accounts. That's sort of a beneficiary designation. POD, payable on death, your bank accounts, your CDs. This will bypass probate, and that'll save you some time and heartache in the future if you do that. Yeah. And so that leads into our 6th point here is probate. And so those TOD and POD, very, very important to make sure that, probate's a process. It means when you pass away. Now, if you pass away, if your spouse passed away and you're still here, there's no probate process. Everything that's in your name is yours. If you're jointly listed, you control that jointly. So.
Hey, Coach, here's an RMD question. Someone says they have to start taking their RMDs, the required minimum distributions, right now, and they've got several different accounts. He's wondering, which one should they pull from first, and how does he know?
The most important thing is we need to look at where your IRAs are and make sure your IRAs are and make sure you have paid those minimum required distributions by December 31st.
Yes.
You seen anything that you want to add to that, Matt? It's like it's kind of crazy, isn't it?
I would be curious to know why she has 3 separate IRAs.
Yeah, a lot of times we recommend that you roll all these IRAs together in one super IRA and then have an income plan attached to that. So now you not only have that money in a safe place, but now you have lifetime income you can never outlive. And then we can show you how to take the money out for the MRDs. A lot of people tell me they don't even need the money, but they're made to take the money out. So we've had strategies before where we turn the tables on the government. They make you take money out of your IRAs because you have to pay tax on it, then take that money and buy a life insurance policy that will give a big number tax-free to your next of kin and give you that long-term care protection too. So now you're utilizing that money for something besides just blowing it on something. I got money, let me go blow it somewhere. But I always encourage you to have fun with some of your retirement money because that's with some of our money, right? That's how you help yourself mitigate the risk of the market. What's a good strategy, Matt, do you think, to protect folks if they have maybe 5 or 6 years to put money away to protect themselves from the fluctuation of the market? Is that a long enough time period to keep all their money at risk? If they're like 5 years, have $600,000. Are you willing to lose $400,000 of your $1 million retirement just by having your money in the wrong place? You've already got to the finish line. You're right there. You're getting ready to win, and instead you turn around and run the other way. Yeah. Seen this in football sometimes. The guy scoops up a fumble and he runs the wrong way. We can't have that happen with money we can't afford to lose. So that's just a very important. So if you want to have your own lifetime income plan put together, make sure you understand all the little things that go on behind the scenes and make sure to put you and your family in control in the financial world. And from 92 all the way to 2000, I worked with teachers exclusively, helping them start their 403B programs, which was sort of like a 401k, able to build it with a tax-free dollar. And I had a lot of teachers retire early because of that. They put money away tax-free. And so then I said, well, I got to learn about this retirement thing. So then I specialized in retirement since the year 2000. But it just makes sense now to consolidate into a place that gives you lifetime income and or a Roth. You can do a Roth and have lifetime income too. The beauty of that is that income is now tax-free. Right. Matt, tax-free is a great phrase in retirement.
It's awesome, and it makes our job a lot easier as well.
It does. All right, now, this is the one that I'm ashamed of in this industry here. The financial industry and arena has so many we call them brokers behaving badly. Unscrupulous folks, doing the wrong thing, doing what's great for them and not for you and your family. So we want to identify conflicts in the broker, protect your growth and give you lifetime income. Or you could be in this orange type bar. This is where a broker's churning away. You're losing money over you.
Absolutely. They stuff it near the back or sometimes very small fine print.
Next to me over here, we've got a camera angle right there, big book on retirement. There's a lot of specialized planning that needs to be done, but it doesn't have to be complex. A lot of time, and we don't need big words in the financial world. I see a lot of big words, sort of like the back of a Red Bull. You ever drank a Red Bull beverage? Yeah. These words of all the ingredients in there, some are like 20 letters long. We don't need that. Keep it simple. Do what's right for me and my family. And everyone's happy in retirement.
Hey, Coach, a question from a listener. He says, my wife and I are disagreeing about our pending retirement and how to estimate future returns from our investments. Now, what approach do you think we should use as far as being reasonably conservative but yet still wanting to max it out?
Hey, Matt, do you think people ever argue about money?
Yeah. All the time.
I'll let you. What do you think with that one? That's a pretty good question.
If you want to be conservative, I would go on the low end.
Yep.
Maybe 5-6%.
Yep.
But I think the better way to look at it is maybe see how much you need to mark your standard of living and kind of back engineer from there, because you may already be there.
Yeah, and they may, I didn't hear the word income in here at all, so I don't think they have an income plan. So looking at the balance you have right now, if we can look at what kind of income we could get from certain parts of that balance, we'll show you how much income from the whole balance, and then we'll put 50% of balance, 40%, 80%, whatever, and then you choose what kind of income you'd want. And this is lifetime guaranteed income. Right. This isn't games and gimmicks. This is in writing, the guaranteed minimum. Right. Could always be more, not less. The problem with the stock market model, it could always be more, yeah, but it could also be less. Right. We want something that 0 is the worst we could do per year. We want to make sure we have lifetime income from that. So I think if we, like you said, if we reverse engineer confusion, get informed.
Come talk to us.
Make sure you deal with a fiduciary planning organization. Now, what does a fiduciary mean? It means we always have to put your needs above our needs. We cannot take commissions out of your money. Very important. Yeah. There's a lot of people every quarter you're seeing commissions disappear out of your money. Now, if you're dealing with a money management fee, they have a quarterly management fee. That's a little different. That is not included in the fiduciary law because that is a disclosed fee that's coming out, a management fee they call it. But commissions should not be coming out of your money. Right. We are compensated by financial institutions out of their money, not your money. Very important distinguishing remark right there because a lot of folks don't understand that and they're letting someone milk them.
Yeah.
And I always say, whose retirement are you funding, yours or your broker's? So make sure you understand what's going out. And a lot of the fees are not disclosed readily, so we can do that analysis, an x-ray of your portfolio to put you in a better place. And when we get in a better place, when we can see lifetime income, the worry eases away, the confusion's gone. We never want to be confused. You need to always understand. You should be meeting with your advisor at least once a year to understand that roadmap you're on and make sure you're hitting the proper waypoints, we call it. And if not, make adjustments to get you on the right track. We spend a lot of our time, I call myself a financial janitor sometimes. We spend a lot of our time cleaning up messes created by like this from the Retirement Countdown series. We'll see you soon. Happening. So it's sort of like the old financial calculators, but these are financial calculators on steroids. Yeah. You can go to visionaryengines.com or PeteOnDemand.com to get a look at that yourself. It's no cost or obligation for these calculators and visionary engines, and it really does put you in control. It's good to see, Dave. I mean, if you do certain things, what could happen, right? Hey, I'm Coach Pete D'Arruda, president of Capital Financial. Folks, the financial world is very, very confusing. That's why we put together a series of educational videos called webinars. You can see them at any time by signing up at CoachPete.com. We'll see you there.
It said, hey, everybody, we're getting ready to go to New York City today. We've got about a 92% chance of landing safely. Yeah. I'd be that guy. A couple of years ago, the flight attendant freaked out, pulled the chute, and grabbed a six-pack and went down the slide. That would be me. Because, I mean, I need 100%. When we're talking about money, there's no excuse not to have 100% safety and security for money we need for a future.
Yeah, especially with the mortality credits of some of these guaranteed lifetime income annuities. They can pay out huge payout rates that you can't get from bonds or
well, and then you won't run out of the money. And so we've seen 6 and 7% payout rates compared to that 4%, and the 6 and 7 are 100% guaranteed to always be there.
Yeah, and people who are in their 70s and 80s can get 8, 9, 10, 11, 12%.
Dead and financial fill-up strategies right there.
The older you are, the higher the guaranteed payout.
Exactly.
Welcome into our series, Tax Savvy Retirement. That is the latest book by best-selling author.
If the tax situation's out of control, it could be a huge negative, and not only for you, but for your next of kin when you pass away. You want to make sure that they're inheriting something that's nice, not a tax time bomb. So we go through that in the book. There's a lot of different tools and techniques here, and
which is a big old penalty.
You know, Bruce brought that up to us during a radio show. He said, "I have a friend."
Yes.
Yeah, I have a friend.
You hope it's a friend, right?
And he told us what happened, but he told us way later than he should have. I mean, his friend should have told us before he did it. We could have given him some free advice here of things not to do. He did exactly what he shouldn't have done, but he didn't know any better.
There you go.
And that happens a lot of times. You have 60 days when you take money out of an IRA to put it back into a different IRA or put it back into that same IRA. But he took that money home and didn't put it anywhere for like 90 days. And right away, he was young too, by the way, so he owed a 10% penalty on the money. You take money out of an IRA before 59, it's a 10% penalty. You don't get
through the book. Maybe you're someone like me who drives a whole lot. The audiobook is available at CoachPete.com, freely available. Just head over and you can download your copy of it. But even more than that, if you already know that taxes are an issue, you know that you need to get a handle on them, and you want to talk to Coach Pete's fiduciary team just to get that aligned with your goals and your plan in retirement, the time to act is now. We're going to make this opportunity available at the end of every video, but call in, set up that discussion with one of his fiduciary planners so that you can be on the right track for this really beautiful time of life.
Let me give you a life hack here. Download the audio at CoachPete.com. Look for the Tax Savvy Retirement audio.
Yeah.
Play it while you're looking through the book.
That's good, yeah.
It really helps you remember things more when you have somebody reading it to you, but you see that we've got a lot of diagrams in the book too, and so it helps you understand a lot better. And you can take notes in the book with a pen. Make notes in the book. This is your book, folks. You don't have to, remember we weren't allowed to write in our books back in the day. You get in trouble with your parents. You can write in this book, it's your book. It should be a reference book, not a book that just sits on the bookshelf. So have fun, and look forward to seeing you every single week with a different chapter.
Successful retirement is your championship. Let Coach Pete design your customized income game plan today.
Not all cryptocurrency is like a meme coin. There are some functional coins, like we said, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, XRP, which is Ripple, Nano. These are transactional coins. These help you move assets from you to somebody else in exchange for big things like that. Shopping centers. So that's what they use to show you how great it is in these very glossy. That's what they use to show you how great it is in these very glossy brochures, and they do dinner seminars too for non-traded REITs. So let's do a non-traded REIT first. A non-traded REIT is it's not listed on the stock exchange yet, so it's not traded. So you put money in. The only way you can get it out, the money out, is if that becomes a tradable REIT. Now, they sell it on income. They say, hey, we're going to get income as long as we have 90 or 95% occupancy of our shopping center. Everything's going to be fine, or you're going to get a great return. What's happened the last few years? Do people go into work a lot? How many of them are sitting with maybe 50% occupancy? Now it's not making enough money to even pay the bills. The building, like the non-traded REIT people are on the hook for the big mortgage payment for these big skyscrapers. So then what happens is they are forced into bankruptcy, these non-traded REITs. Now, I want to get to that. Let's put a pause button here. Let me tell you what a traded REIT is. You can look up traded REITs on the internet, and these are basically symbols that you see in the stock market. You could buy it today and sell it tomorrow afternoon, or you could buy it at 10 and sell it at 10:05. Some pay a dividend. I like dividend stocks. That means you're getting paid to take a risk. And yes, it's risky because at any time you buy a stock, it could go down, right?
Yeah.
That's a traded REIT. Now, the non-traded REITs, you're at the mercy of the company behind it. And here's some breaking news. As of February 3rd, 2026, and here's one of the companies that's been peddled like crazy around this area, Inspired Healthcare Capital has filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection. This follows a period of significant instability starting in July 2025. Which includes suspension of distributions. All investors' distributions and new offerings were halted in 2025 of July. So if you have a broker pushing it to you and they sold it to you after July, there's some really bad stuff going there. But SEC investigation right now is underway, and legal action, numerous lawsuits and FINRA arbitration claims have been filed by investors alleging misrepresentation, unsuitability, and breach of fiduciary duty due to the high fee structure and then the loss of principal that happened after that. So these were sold, Thomas, the people that I've talked to that got led down this path, they were sold as a safe investment. There's nothing safe about a non-traded REIT. We're not going to spend the whole show going through this, but if you have a non-traded REIT and you want to have somebody, in addition to the broker who sold it to you, tell you about it, give us a call, because the broker who sold it to you is going to tell you all good things, and don't worry, because they're worried about being sued right now. One of the things they're using to sell these a lot of times is they're selling long-term care facility non-traded REITs, and they're trying to say, well, look, everyone's going to the nursing home, but a lot of these, after they get the money, they still don't build the facility. Let's say you had $1.5 million, okay, and they recommended you put $1.2 million in if an investment has to be sold to you. Wait, you put $1,200,000 in. Now your balance shows $1,050,000. You've lost $150,000 just by putting the money in, because guess what? Somebody reached in and took a bunch of commission out. Don't make that mistake. Stay away from non-traded REITs. It really, I'm going to use a word, it pisses me off that somebody's out there doing this, Thomas, because, I mean, I picture what if your mom, what if that happened to your mom? What would you do? You'd want to find somebody. You'd want that.
I'd be
exploited.
furious.
And you can't claim ignorance as the person selling it, because if you don't know what you're selling, you shouldn't be selling it to begin with, period.
I agree.
Same thing with managed money. A lot of these managed money guys are selling mutual funds inside their managed wrapper. So they're charging you a management fee, and then the mutual fund company also charges you a management fee. Wouldn't you want to insure your income and not give it to these guys peddling these non-traded REITs? The only retirement you're insuring is your brokers when you give them that money, because they're taking money right out of your money. I am really adamant and really ticked off about what I've seen this week. And this gals who are doing it, they should be ashamed of themselves. They should be ashamed of themselves, and they should get back onto the insured money methods and not offering these junk products that they're selling to people that are unsuspecting. And they get them with a little folksy attitude when they go in, and then they get screwed into the investments like this. So be very careful, folks. There's a lot of games and gimmicks out here, and it's all designed for the broker to make money instead of you. And I always say, whose retirement are you funding? Yours or your broker's? I can 100% confidently say we've helped every single person that I've ever met with in my life, because we put them in lifetime income strategies. I am a retirement income certified professional. If you want a review of your portfolio.
All right, you pretty much have a book for everything. So how do we find your books? Where do we find them at? Where can I get a copy of all of them?
Yeah, the beautiful thing is you can go to Amazon and pay for them, or you can go to CoachPete.com, and all our books, or most all my books, are there as a PDF, so you can download them. And then we have a video series that goes along with the books that I feel the important books we have, what the stock market was, what a car costs for each year. So it's fun to go back. I used to get these birthday cards and said, you were born in 1966. Here's what a loaf of bread costs. Here's what milk costs. Here's a famous car, the famous actors. Yeah. We do the same thing with the Through the Years book.
1985.
Okay.
And we've got cost of living, and I'm looking at 56 cents for bread, milk $2.26 a gallon, gold $327 an ounce.
Wow.
What is it now?
Over 5,000.
Oh,
right around there. It's crazy, isn't it?
Mortgage was 12% interest.
Well, yeah, those are hard. That's a big one there. But houses were a lot lower in price.
That's nuts. I'm looking at this gold number, and I'm wishing I would have invested in that.
Yeah, I wish you could, but you know, it bounces around, and it's good to have a little bit of gold at all times. It's good to have a good portfolio, a proper balance, and have that total retirement plan. The reason I write books is that people ask me questions, and I said, well, a lot of people ask the same question. It's time to write a book.
Okay.
So my big book on retirement shows you how to have lifetime income you can never outlive, and design the right plan for the whole life for you and your spouse. So the next 10 people call, we'll put together for you your very own total retirement plan, and you'll get my book, the big book on retirement, when you come in.
And welcome back into our series on the Tax Savvy Retirement book by Coach Pete D'Arruda. I'm going to say one of your latest books at this point, because I'm sure by the time somebody might watch this, you could have another one out.
19 books now. 19. So we've got to get a 20 out there, right?
We have to
stop at 20 at least. Maybe it'll be 30 by the time I get done. But
yeah,
I keep saying it. This is going to be my last book, and then I say, well, there's so much other taxes on that money if you don't put it into a brand new IRA.
Yeah. Yep.
So be very careful. Most planners can help you get from one IRA to another without any penalties or proof on your behalf that you really did it, because it's all electronic. From one financial institution to another, it's already done, so you don't have to worry about the IRS getting mad at you.
Yeah.
So there used to be something we would recommend called a stretch IRA.
Yes.
Yeah, and they took it away in the Secure Act.
They did.
Stretch IRA said, hey, I've got an IRA here, a big amount, let's say, and I'm going to pass away, and I know I'm not going to use all that money, so let me leave that money to my granddaughter. Who would be 10, we'll say she's 10 years old when I die at 80, right?
Right, yeah.
And so she inherits my IRA, and now she doesn't have to pay tax on that. She inherits it, and then she has to take out just a small amount of money each year in that IRA, and it continues to grow for her lifetime. They took that away in the Secure Act. You can only do that for 10 years now. So when you die, your granddaughter can only get 10 years and bigger payments, which are more taxes. So that's what the government wants to make taxes. Again, the stretch IRA is not what it used to be, but again, there's some other ways out there to help you on taxation. So some life insurance policies. Hey, I'm Coach Pete D'Arruda, president of Capital Financial. Folks, the financial world is very, very confusing. That's why we put together a series of educational videos called webinars. You can see them at any time by signing up at CoachPete.com. We'll see you there.
Social Security is one of the backbones of retirement planning. and relied upon by millions of Americans every month. So why do we keep hearing that Social Security is in trouble? From its inception, Social Security helped establish the very idea of widespread retirement in the U.S. and allowed Americans to enjoy their golden years without fear of slipping into poverty. What are people saying now about the state of Social Security?
It's funny when we talk about so many of us, or most, deserve a penny of the Social Security I put aside.
I know that these changes can be scary to talk about, but let's get it out of the way. What are some measures you can take to prepare if Social Security went away or was minimized?
The average person thinks that we can control the safety and security and longevity of the Social Security system. To be truthful, we have no control over that. It's up to Congress to do what they're supposed to do and not minimize our benefit that we were depending on. A lot of people are depending on that for a majority of their core account in retirement. The core is the money that can't go away. It's always there producing income. Another part of the core is we use lifetime income annuities for that too, to give that certainty, knowing that you're going to have that peace of mind, you're going to have the check every single month for the rest of your life in retirement. I think there's plenty of places that our government blows money on, billions of dollars a year, that could cancel and put that money into Social Security. So Social Security is never, in my opinion, never going away. But don't depend on it for all your retirement income.
And now we are entering our Social Security viability lightning round. I'll give Coach some potential solutions for Social Security viability, and he'll shoot back with his thoughts. First up, raising the retirement age.
65 is what we always heard. Now it's 67 for a lot of people, 68, 69. And so that way, that reduces the amount of burden on the Social Security Administration to pay because you can't get it until a certain age. Now, you can still get it now at 62, and that's still available. So maybe they'll take that away. I don't think they should, but they're floating every single idea out there. Raising the retirement age, that's what it would mean. Maybe instead of 62 to 70, it'll go 65 to 73, that kind of thing. So we're going to see some changes, which I'm in favor of as long as they can guarantee that they're not going to tamper with anyone's Social Security income in the future.
Next, what if we raised the payroll tax?
This doesn't make anyone happy. Raising the payroll tax, they do that every single year, it seems like. It used to be one number coming out for Social Security and Medicare. Then they separated it, and you see the Medicare number keeps growing, their tax price. They're going to keep increasing that, and they probably will. They'll increase your payroll tax. You're going to pay a lot more money to get a whole lot less benefit.
All right, now break down means testing.
Means testing is just a way for them to reduce or eliminate payment to people that they claim can afford retirement without the Social Security. Is it fair? Heck no, it's not fair. You put that money away, you deserve it back.
What if Social Security were put into higher yielding assets?
This has been floated for years. The problem is the quote-unquote higher yielding assets. To get a better return, what do you usually have to do? You usually have to sacrifice safety. So if you are promised or they're trying to get a higher rate of return, they could end up with a lower or a negative rate of return on that. So conservative money management for your Social Security trust fund account, again, that's part of your core money in retirement. They shouldn't tamper with it. They should not take more risk. I've heard other rumors where they wanted you to give you the ability to invest your own money on yourself. They'll never do that because government likes to control that money too much.
And what if we had some sort of universal basic income?
This one basically is communism. It's basically saying everyone's going to make the same amount of money and you can't get more than that. I don't agree with that one at all.
We've talked about a lot of what-if scenarios, and it can be nerve-wracking. What can someone do today to secure their retirement?
The most important thing, Congress is going to be battling every single day of our lives, back and forth, blaming each other. The money world's going to go up, down, all around every day. The market will be up, the market will be down. Kramer will be going wild on TV. The secret to you is don't live outside your means. Know what your spending is going to be needed, what kind of money you're going to need in retirement. Make sure you have enough money put aside in your core account that's going to give you a lifetime income. Most people I talk to don't have any idea about what an income plan is and how it can give them lifetime confidence because you get lifetime income. So all the things together, I don't agree with trying to minimize your expenses. I'd rather have you try to make more money or have a better stream of income so you can do all the things you want to do in retirement. We work 30 or 40 years. We put aside money 30 or 40 years for a vacation, a lifetime vacation called retirement. It's also 20, 30, even 40 years of unemployment, otherwise known as retirement. So we need to have our own unemployment insurance, which is a true retirement income plan. We cover that in our 22-step total retirement plan.
That's right, folks. You need a retirement plan that can stay afloat no matter what happens in the economy, in politics, or anything else. We want to help you put together a plan. Coach Pete and the team at Capital Financial can help you navigate the financial world to get you where you want to be in retirement. Take advantage of the no-cost, no-obligation financial review to understand the ins and outs of your retirement plan. A customized plan based on your wants and needs. Contact us today. Also, be sure to like this video and subscribe to this channel for more retirement help.
Here we are, the big book on retirement, chapter 1. It's all about picking the right coach. I'm Thomas Lipscomb here alongside the coach, Coach Pete D'Arruda, the author of this great book that hopefully you're getting into. I did want to bring this up too, since we're at the beginning of this walkthrough. Maybe you're having a hard time getting through the book. You don't have enough time to sit down and read.
It's a big book, so it might be intimidating, but we did make the print pretty big, so people like me who usually need reading glasses don't even need reading glasses.
There you go. And for people like me who drive a little bit, the audio book is available. So if you want to head over to CoachPete.com, grab that audio book. It's another great way to listen through the content. But let's talk about picking the right coach. This is chapter 1, so a little bit important, I would imagine.
Well, you know, you watch some sports on TV every now and then. You hear about these teams, and sometimes the teams aren't that good, so they get rid of the coach.
Yeah.
And they hire a new coach, and the same players start playing a lot better.
Interesting how that works.
So having a good coach in the financial world can put you in control of your retirement. That's what we're talking about. So if you're not really sure if you're on the right track, or your current advisor isn't giving you what you think the attention you deserve, or putting you in the place you deserve to be in, then get a second opinion. Maybe get a new coach, but have a review, have your current plan put against what's currently out there and see if it matches up.
Yeah.
And so that's what we do a lot of. We do game planning. We say, well, here's where you are right now, but if you change one or two things, you could be way up here without it costing you any money, just by moving things in the right places. So again, it's about having, we've all put those puzzles together before where you dump them out thousands of pieces, but some people can put them together really good and other people can't. I had a dream where I actually did the Rubik's Cube.
Oh, nice.
I did. I dreamed last night. It's just coming to me now. You remember your dreams?
Yeah, sure.
No idea what that means. If you're a dream analyst, maybe you can tell me what it meant when I actually solved the Rubik's Cube. And I had the little pattern in my head and all that.
Yeah.
And I woke up and, I'll never be able to do it. But both my brothers could do the Rubik's Cube. I could never do it. But retirement doesn't have to be a Rubik's Cube.
Yeah.
Or maybe it is, but if you get someone who understands it, they can align it just right for you. So it's about making sure that your goals and aspirations and ambitions match up to what your plan is going to do for you in the future.
There you go. Important points to be looking at, and I think this is why we like to start off that review process with a second opinion. This is an important time in people's lives. It is similar to I think a doctor's visit where you find out something big, a pregnancy or something. You may want a second opinion if there's a disease in play, just to make sure, am I following the right procedure and protocol?
Let's say you don't feel that good. You go to your doctor, he says everything's fine. Maybe you want to go see another doctor and make sure everything really is fine.
Exactly.
Same thing in the financial world. And it shouldn't be confrontational. It should just be putting you in the right place and doing the right thing for you. Maybe the current advisor is not specializing in taking you all the way through retirement. Maybe they did a good job of building your accounts, but now we need to preserve it and give lifetime income we can never outlive on it. We specialize in that. That's why we call it the Big Book on Retirement.
There you go. So folks, get your second opinion. Reach out to Coach Pete and the team. As we go through these chapters, there are going to be questions that come up. So go ahead and connect with the fiduciary team so that we can begin walking through this process, and we will see you in Chapter 2.
You yourself have made yourself successful because I don't know if you want to share with the folks watching, but you have a lot of annuities yourself and you set those up for streams of income. How many incomes do you have?
Yeah, I have 13 annuities. Most of them are Roth IRAs.
Yep.
I don't sell annuities, I buy them. Right? And I've got some that start at age 60, some that start at age 62, some that start at age 65. Most of them start whenever I want. And so I'm guaranteed to have increasing tax-free income for the rest of my life. And that's what I encourage people to do, because we're approaching 40 trillion in debt. I mean, our interest on our debt is more than the defense budget for the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, Coast Guard, Space Force. It's unbelievable. And so I think getting yourself in a position to get as much tax-free income is important, and the multiple streams is very important.
We call that a laddering strategy, and anyone who's watching can get one. Like, if you don't have a laddering strategy, if you don't have income, you really need it. Get an analysis, get a free review, get an X-ray of your portfolio. CoachPete.com is people go there. CoachPete.com. You can find out a lot of education on your own, and then if you're interested in finding out more advanced planning, let us know.
Yeah, and it's free.
This big game, every move counts. Plan wisely to win the match. Sidestep the unexpected and charge towards your goal. Navigate through the challenges. Retirement is your end zone, and the touchdown is within reach. A successful retirement is your championship. Let Coach Pete design your customized income game plan today.
All right, I'm not sure what kind of strategy this is, but I just saw this and I have to ask you about it. What does cash dragging into mutual funds mean?
Cash dragging is just basically, I picture using your mouse and you drag it from mutual cash over to the mutual fund.
Okay.
And put it in there. It's just dollar cost averaging into mutual funds.
Okay.
So instead of putting all the money you have at one time into a mutual fund, you take that money, divide it in 12 little packets, and once a month you put in 1/12 into the mutual fund. Why do you do that? Because the mutual funds go up and down in price. You do what's called dollar cost averaging, which equals out the curves. In other words, smooths out the curves so you're not buying too high or too low. You're in the middle all the time.
See, that's why this is what my Ryan would say at this point. Just handle it, Coach. You just handle it. I don't understand any of this. That's why you have to call Coach.
Well, there's 22 steps in our total retirement plan. That's one of them. But call now. We'll do it for you at no cost or obligation. All 22 steps to get you on the right path.
Welcome back in. We've got a series going called Women and Money, and luckily we have some women here, in addition to Coach Pete. Where do you think, or when is the most important time for women to start paying attention to money or to start saving money, Coach?
Well, at any time, but it's one thing. A lot of us say starts in college or right out of college, but that's not even anywhere close on the priority list, is it?
No,
not
close at all.
I know we read these articles and they say, "Dude, just start to have $50 a month." Well, you're not even thinking about that back then.
No, because that's nails,
I actually bought. I saw in the USA Today newspaper back in the. Remember the newspapers?
Sure.
Back in the day, they had the. I always looked at the want ad stuff, and back there, or the classified ads they call them. There was an ad back there, and it was only ran one day, and I just happened to be traveling. Every time I traveled, I got a USA Today. That was the funnest thing to get when you're traveling, before the cell phones.
Yes.
So it's full color, all that. But a little ad, it said, invest in the IPO like the big guys, but right here. So if you could get 33 shares of Boston Beer Company for 10 cents a share, or $10 a share. So it's $330. I wrote a check. You could only get 33 shares, but that. It's $10 a share. It ended up going to like $400 a share.
Oh, wow.
And it was paying all sorts of dividends and everything.
Nice.
So it turned out a good thing. So, and then I did some dividend reinvestment programs. So if you're just starting out and you're saying, Coach, I want to start saving somewhere. Well, number one, 401k at your work if you want. A lot of times they offer the Roth option. If you're young, do the Roth option. You don't get a tax write-off, but it builds tax-free forever.
You bet.
You come out so much further ahead if you have 20 years or longer to hold that money in a Roth than a regular one. Now, a lot of people like that immediate tax deduction, so they put money in the regular 401k. They get to write off a little bit of the money they put into the 401k. The problem is all that money is going to be taxable down the road, including the growth.
Yes.
So would you rather have growth with no tax or growth with tax? Of course.
Definitely no tax.
And so, but save somewhere. I did dividend reinvestment programs. I still do. There's a good mutual fund or ETF. Vanguard has VOO, which is the S&P 500. These are good places to start. And they can take a little money every month and dollar cost average in, and it's a good way to start. But I really think by the age of 40, you need to start thinking about saving some money. Because now you still have 25 years
Serious
to 65.
How do you deal with people that are coming out with these massive amounts of student loan debt?
Yeah. Well, you got to treat it like another payment, like a mortgage payment. And so depending on what the interest rate is, now if you have a high interest rate, you want to pay that off quick. Because if you have a 10, 11, 12, 13% credit card or student loan interest rate, maybe credit card's up to 29%,
every dollar you pay into that to pay it down, you basically make 29% because you're not having to pay it anymore. So if it's 29% interest and you're paying it down quick, you're making 29% by not having to pay that interest anymore. So you don't want to start saving until you get those big bills paid. But if you have a home loan, maybe it's 4%, 5% interest, just treat it as a mortgage. Like it's you don't need to pay it off, but save some money on your own. So pay your house off, maybe put a little extra towards principal. I don't know, a lot of people don't realize this, but if you have a 30-year mortgage and you decide to pay one extra mortgage payment a year,
You bet.
you can divide it by 12. You take your payment, divide it by 12, just give a little extra towards principal. You'll get a 30-year loan down to about 23 years.
That's
amazing.
nice.
It's great, isn't it?
Yep, it's absolutely
And so
amazing.
15-year down to about 12 if you pay a one extra payment a year. So that's easy to do.
Yeah.
And so that's, in a way, you're saving, because if you get your house paid off quicker, now you'll have all that free money to start really accelerating your savings in the future, okay? But I think there's no substitute for the time value of money. The sooner you can get that money put away, the more it's going to grow, and then the more that interest in there is going to grow itself. So it's going to triple compound. And Albert Einstein called that one of the 8 wonders of the world. back in the day.
Okay.
So again, don't worry if you haven't saved, but you may be doing a lot of things that are helping you and don't even realize it. If you're paying those bills off early, you're helping
Right.
yourself.
That's interesting because I heard you and Amanda on her endorsement on the radio, and you were talking about, well, I've still got some furniture that right, that you bought on time, as my dad used to say.
Yeah. Yep.
And you were asking him, what do I need to pay off first?
Yep, and it was 0%, but they can still get you in the fine print, which is one of the books that really helped me, that Coach Pete gave me, was like, hey, in the fine print fiasco.
Fine print fiasco.
You can really, if you miss some of those details, oh, it's 60 months, oh, it's 0%, that can bite you. And coming from a family of parents who work check to check, and not knowing about money, and you see all those flashy things when you are in your 20s, when you are graduating, and you think, I want all this now. I want the fence, and I want the furniture, and I want the car.
Gratisfaction, I call it. You want it immediate.
You want it immediately, and it really does require discipline. And I just implore you to get Coach in your circle and learn, like, hey, where could I be when I'm 60? Look long term. Stop looking so short term, and then you'll be where you need to be.
You know, the game and gimmicks, the same as cash. 60 months, same as cash. 5 years, same as cash. They try to get you to do that. And here's the 2 zingers in there. Number 1, they require a minimum payment every month still.
Yep.
And if you miss one of those minimum payments, they'll go back and get you for all the interest that you haven't paid yet, plus all the interest you have in the future too. And if you get to the 60 months and you wait 1 extra day, so 60 months and 1 day, they're going to go back and hit you with all that interest plus interest on top of that interest. So and fees and all that. You got to be very careful on that. But it's a great deal if you pay it off like the rules say.
Right.
Because free money. All right, but again, the only reason they're doing that, they're not doing it because they're a charity. They're doing it because they hope you mess up.
Yeah.
Vegas doesn't stay open because they're a charity, do they? They come on in and win. No, they want you to come in and what? Mess up. And just like anything in life.
So how much money should someone have in their emergency fund if they're coming out of college and they're in their 20s?
Yeah, all right, it depends. And well, I hate that kind of answer, it depends. Well, it depends on what you're spending in a month.
Okay.
So if you can really figure out about what you spend in a month for all your bills and your fund, you need about 6 times that in emergency fund.
That's a lot.
Okay, and a lot of people say 2 years, because what if you lost your job? And then so then the 2 years worth of fund would help, right? Because now you don't have a job and you're looking for a job. So, and we see a lot of people like that these days with AI taking a lot of jobs away.
Oh, it's
right. But a lot of people blame it on AI, but they just weren't doing a good job to begin with. If you're doing a great job, no one's going to replace you. Put it that way.
One of the things that always stands out to me when we talk, specifically when we talk a lot, you always go straight to retirement, and a lot of people go straight to retirement. But I'm a live in the now person.
Yep.
And so for me, I've come out of college, even now where I am in life, I want to take vacations.
Yep.
Yes.
I see this.
I want to do stuff like that, and I do appreciate
Facebook.
I take a lot of vacations.
You were riding a camel this past summer.
I was.
That's pretty impressive.
Travel is so important to me, so I would prioritize living my life now while I'm healthy and able.
Exactly.
Versus just getting to retirement, and I think that's one of the things that people don't realize that you help with too.
You can do both. Okay, you can live in the now, and you can also save at the same time. And I like to put plans together like that too. They give you the fun now and the fun later, but never in a place where you're not going to have any money left over. So you always got to manage it the right way. But there's ways to do exactly what you're doing. You're doing it.
I'm doing it,
and you're doing a good job.
But it took many years to get here because I didn't want to. Like you said, live and check. I don't want to do that.
I'm afraid to spend this because I might not have enough. Well, what if we put plans together where you knew you had enough, and you knew next year you're going to have even more money to do it? So that's what we do: replenishing income. And emergency accounts.
Sure.
No, and I'm telling you something I've been working on a lot is just stripping it down where I'm not buying too much. I am buying too much. Amazon, too much shopping, trying to rewear these clothes. Like, people aren't going to see me again. So the saving tips that Coach has instilled have been great.
It makes it easy to spend money these days. Like McDonald's takes credit cards. I
Oh,
remember when
yeah.
they didn't take credit cards, it was really, really cheap to eat there. We used to go in with for Christmas, we'd get a $5 book of gift certificates back in the
I
day.
remember
$1 at a
those.
time. And
Yep.
Mom would say, well, tear one away. So me and my brothers would all tear one out, $1. And we all hop in the car. We were all proud to pay for our own meal. We went up there and we get a hamburger, fries, a drink, and a cherry or apple pie. Remember the hot ones they used to have? The deep fried ones? And a drink. For under, man, milkshake a lot of times, for under $1. Crazy, isn't it?
Wow.
Nowadays, you couldn't even get a burger for under $1.
And now Amazon's letting you stretch your payments out
Isn't that nice
on your
of them?
purchase, and they're doing it on everything. So it's really just everywhere. So
It's all about trying to trap you behind that dead 8 ball, and you don't need to be trapped behind there.
Right.
And there are ways where you don't have to be. So let's get together. We'll put a plan together that makes sense for you, a common sense plan that encompasses fun,
So I
like
can
Jen
still
wants to do,
live
but
my
fun
life.
now and fun later. We can do it all together.
Finish first with this guy.
Consumer advocate Thomas Lipscomb here in studio with best-selling author Coach Pete DeRuta. Coach, how are you doing?
Great, Thomas. How are you?
I am doing very well. Excited to get into the topic. Now listen to this. Something that is going to throw us back to 1981. You probably know what it is.
Back to the future.
Stocks, bonds, inflation-protected bonds, industrial metals all slumping at the same time. Not a pretty reminder, is it?
No, and we're almost there now, Thomas. I mean, when you look at it, the problem these days is how strong is the American dollar? And not what an exchange rate is, but are we still using the American dollar to trade oil? And there have been rumors that that's going away. And if that goes away, we won't be able to print unlimited dollars anymore. We've been able to hide a lot of the dollars we print because we are the international exchange currency.
There you go.
If that goes away, we turn into Venezuela overnight.
Well, let me ask you this. You're talking about printing more dollars. Obviously, that means inflation, inflation, inflation.
Yeah.
And I have a note here that says just a 3% rate of inflation would cut your spending power in half over the course of 24 years.
Well, let's look at it. People hear inflation. A lot of people don't realize what that means.
Yeah.
That means there's way too many dollars out there for way too many things to buy. And so here's why it happened. The government gave away trillions of dollars, and a lot of the giveaways were to tell people not to work. So you're paying people not to work, and they're usually the people who are making the products that people are buying. So if you're not working to make the products, but they're giving you money to go buy products, there aren't products out there. So then the few products that are out there, the people who are selling them can charge what they want. We're seeing that with oil, obviously. We're seeing that with food. We're seeing that with almost everything we buy, even used cars. There are less few cars out there. There's a lot more dollars chasing the used cars around. And I've dumped a used car in the market than myself. I made a lot more money on a Honda Civic that I bought my daughter 2 years ago.
Isn't that crazy?
I gave her a Jeep instead, and I made money.
I love it. I love it. I will be there soon enough. I will be there soon enough.
So this is not good, though. This is not good in the long run at all for anyone. You know, a lot of people like me just brag that I made more money selling a used car. So what? I'm getting punished all over the place. When I go to the food store, when I go to the appliance store, when I go any store, I'm paying a lot more than I should.
Okay, well, tell us, how can we develop that inflation shield then?
Yeah, well, we used to call it an inflation protected plan. It still is, but we need to make sure that our money is at least earning up to what inflation is. Or trying to earn. If you have money buried under a pillow, you're earning 0. And if inflation is admittedly 8%, I think it's higher than that, you are losing 8% a year in buying power.
Wow.
And then if you have money in a CD at a bank, maybe you're getting 1%. And again, inflation 8%, you're losing 7% per year out of your buying power. So your dollar is shrinking right in front of you, Thomas. We need to have a plan put together that at least helps us keep up with that inflationary aspect we have these days.
And this is something that you and the team specialize in. So folks, contact Coach Pete and the team here at Capital Financial. They keep a limited number of vacancies on their calendar just for viewers like you. So call in, reserve that spot. We offer virtual consultations as well as in-office consultations. So get yours today.
In 2024, an EBRI study said only 1 out of 4 Americans felt confident they'd never run out of money. So how can you help people build certainty into their plan?
There's a lot of great financial plans out there, but you don't have a retirement plan unless you have streams of lifetime income that's guaranteed. I like more than one stream. Of course, Social Security, that's a stream of income. It's an annuity offered by the government. Everyone gets Social Security. But we need our own personal annuities. We need to ensure our retirement. And it's great to look at these gigantic $1 million balances in the stock market. They're fun. It is fun to grow your money, and we want the market to grow. But we also want to preserve the money we've already taken all these years where we didn't do stuff to save. What good is it to save money to watch it disappear before you can spend it? So let's put some of the money in a place we can outlive and put those in streams of income account. With Bitcoin, though, every time you do a transaction, it goes all the way to the beginning, follows the chain all the way up, and puts your transaction way over here.
Wow.
On Ethereum, it goes back to the last time on the node, and it adds it right there going forward. So it's a lot faster on Ethereum. Now, both Ethereum and Bitcoin have pretty good transactional fees. Bitcoin calls it a transaction fee, and Ethereum calls it a gas fee.
Gas fee, yeah.
And that goes up and down depending on the surge, how many people are using it at the same time.
Yeah.
So there are some ones that don't charge a fee or minimal fees, but then you have to build trust with them. The only one I really trust that doesn't charge a fee is one called Nano, N-A-N-O. They're a non-profit crypto, sort of like Red Hat was back in the day for technology.
Right.
And they don't charge a transaction fee because there's nobody there to feed. It's a self-running program, but its main purpose is from peer-to-peer buying and selling.
Welcome back into our series on tax-savvy retirement, a book by best-selling author, Coach Pete D'Arruda. I can't call it the latest because I just don't believe it will be here in the short
We're working
future.
on another one called Through the Years, by the way.
Yes, we are, which is very fun.
From 1909 all the way to 2025, telling you every single year the inflation, the how much cost of a loaf of bread, gas, these kind of great things, and then some of the famous songs back then, and just things you're going to bring back some good memories.
Oh, and it's so fun when you read through the book, guys, when you get your copy. It starts off in 1909, 1910, and we've put the style in the style of that era. So then as you progress to the 20s and the 30s, you
the roaring 20s, right?
You get to the 40s, 50s, it feels like the Jetsons. You get to the, it's really fun. It's a fun book. I look forward to it. But let's focus on this one right now.
It's a good book right here, too.
Chapter 2, tax diversification and income bucket. So bucketing strategy. I'm sure many of you watching know that Coach Pete is and has been on television and radio for a very, very, very long time.
Over 20 years.
And we talk bucketing strategy a lot, but here you're talking about it in terms of taxation.
It's so much easier to understand your money when you can break it down into piles or buckets.
Yeah.
All right, so there's three main buckets when we're talking about taxation. We've got the taxable bucket. That's money that, like when you get a paycheck, it's taxable.
Sure,
taxable money. If you have a CD at the bank, it's usually taxable, so that's taxable. We have the tax deferred bucket. That's where you earn interest, but you don't pay the taxes until you take the money out down the road. So like your IRAs are tax deferred.
Okay,
you got to put money in, you got to reduce your taxable income when you put the money in, but when you take the money out, you have to increase your taxable income because you have to pay tax on it. Then the most important bucket, the most overlooked bucket, the bucket that is usually not filled up, is the tax-free bucket. That means when you take the money out, it comes out tax-free. When you pass away, it goes tax-free to your next of kin. This is the Roth IRA that you hear about. This is life insurance. If designed the right way, you can get a tax-free income from your life insurance policy through your life, and then when you pass away, a tax-free death benefit will go to your beneficiaries, your family. Very, very important. Or your churches or charity.
It's powerful.
We had somebody, he instead of giving to the church every week, he told the pastor he was going to use that money and buy a life insurance policy with it. So that when he passed away, he left $1 million to the church tax-free.
I bet they were happy about that.
See, I mean, that's a creative way right there. It made a lot of sense.
It is.
So if you turn the tax law upside down, it can be your best friend. If you have it as it is now and don't really pay attention to it, it's going to be your worst enemy.
It's good.
So we have something we call tax planning, looking ahead to protect your behind from the tax man. So let's get a tax plan put together along with your retirement plan and your income plan, and now you'll be in control of retirement and not worry anymore.
Yes.
Because the worst thing you could do is stay up late at night wondering where you're going to get the money to pay the taxes on retirement. We can help you with all that, folks. And because you're watching this, you qualify for no-cost consultation with a team who specializes in everything we talk about here in the book. So let's get a plan put together at no cost or obligation for you and your family. Go to CoachPete.com or call the number you see on the screen. You can be getting started as soon as next week, getting in control of your money instead of your money controlling you.
Very good. The time to act is now, folks. Call that number you see on your screen. This is all a part of Coach Pete's 22-step planning process. Tax is obviously a very big part of that. Maximize your own income, minimize those taxes, and we will see you for Chapter 3 of Tax Savvy Retirement.
All right, red money, yellow money, green money in retirement. What is all this, and what does it mean to diversify between the three?
Red, green, yellow. Sounds like a song, doesn't
Yeah.
it? But again, we don't want to take too much risk when we're getting into that financial red zone. And that's about age 50 or 5 years outside of retirement or any time in retirement. You are in the financial red zone. So what that means, Amanda, is when we're young, we can take a lot of risk with our money because, in theory, if we lose it, we have time to gain it back. But if you ask me, I don't like losing money at any time. I don't know about you. So we can make sure to minimize risk, but also maximize return. But the most important part of anything, Amanda, is making sure you have a lifetime of income that when you approach retirement, you can never outlive that.
So if someone already has a retirement plan in place and they haven't revisited it in a long time, it's time to sit down with you, right, and say, hey, what are my goals? Where am I headed? Maybe they don't trust the financial person that they're with now.
You ever drive down the road, Amanda, and you go through that pothole, and you do it every day for the longest time, and so you know how to avoid it, but then you look in your rearview mirror and see other people hitting it? Well, a retirement plan can't be like that. It can't be like the road service that never fixes a pothole.
Yeah.
A good retirement plan is reviewed every year so that we can fill the potholes and, more importantly, get you on a different road to begin with. If you have potholes in your retirement, you're in the wrong road to begin with. So let's get that smooth glide path into retirement, get that true lifetime income plan. I've been doing this over 33 years now, so I know what I'm doing as far as structuring retirement income you can't outlive. If you want to get a real plan together, folks, that doesn't have potholes in it, call right now.
I'm excited about our next guest. I've known the next guest for many years. He's a personal friend of mine, Coach Pete D'Arruda, CoachPete.com, America's Wealth Coach. Welcome, Coach Pete.
Great to see you, Tommy.
So, Pete, I know a little bit about your background. The audience doesn't, so fill us in on how you got to where you are.
Well, I have 33 years in the financial arena now. Gosh, time flies, doesn't it? It seems like just yesterday. I started working with teachers in the 90s, showing them how to save money, tax deductible, or put it away before taxes come out in the 403B, federal 403B program, helping them save for retirement. Tom, then they started to retire. And I said, gosh, I need to know how to help them the rest of the way. So I got my Retirement Income Certified Professional designation from the American College, which teaches me and taught me how to make sure that people never run out of money in retirement.
Here we are, the big book on retirement. I'm Thomas Lipscomb here with Coach Pete D'Arruda, going chapter by chapter through the book, getting some behind the scenes knowledge and wisdom. And you're here for chapter 2, so let's dive right in. The chapter is called Learn the Rules. And you got a quote here at the top I like. It's from Albert Einstein. He says, you got to learn the rules of the game. Then you have to play better than anyone else.
Yeah.
But learning the rules is huge, and I think I can pick on myself a little bit here, Coach. You know, I'm not a huge sports fan. I'm more into the music and the nerdy stuff. But I know my rules when it comes to hockey, and I can enjoy the game because of that, or soccer or whatever. But then there are games out there that I simply just don't know the rules for.
Well, look at driving. You have to know the rules there. So it doesn't have to be just a game. It could be anything in life. There's rules.
That's true.
Anything you do have rules. You go to the bathroom, public restroom, there's rules. You don't walk up right behind people when they're, when you're waiting. That kind of. There's different things you have to do.
That's good, yeah.
And so knowing the rules will put you in charge. If you know the rules, you can build a plan around the rules.
Yes.
If you don't know the rules, you could do things that aren't right. And so the rules are not telling you what's. You're not going to go to jail if you don't follow the rules, but you could be in a lot worse situation if you don't follow the money rules.
Yeah, it's true. We've talked about people who have had excessive penalties more than they needed to, or maybe just not optimizing things properly, just because they didn't understand the rules. I do, because the tax. How big are these books with the rules in them? It's a lot in there.
I had a conversation with my daughter the other day because Daddy pays for her credit card each month. She's at college right now, and I noticed she was doing a lot of these food deliveries. And Daddy had a conversation with her about how when Daddy was in school, he bought one loaf of bread and peanut butter and jelly and basically lived off that. He didn't pay delivery fees. So I said, you're a young girl. There's a snack bar right in the first floor of her dorm.
Oh, okay.
I said, walk down there and buy the snacks. Don't have someone bring it to your door because then you have to pay delivery fee and you got to tip people. So, when you're paying everybody else money, it's hard to build money. And the people that understand money and have a lot of money are the ones that did smart money decisions going forward.
It's true.
Because anytime money goes out, you have to work extra hard just to bring it back in. She doesn't because it's Daddy's money. Daddy doesn't like his money going out there. I have a limit now. It's a pretty good limit though, but each month for her. But and I'm not being a mean dad. I'm just saying it's okay to eat that way every now and then, but don't do it all the time because that's a money evil. They're trying to steal money from you, and they are.
That's good.
Paying tips and delivery fees.
I think, my grandma certainly didn't make up the saying, but she used to say a penny saved is a penny earned.
Absolutely.
And I think the word ownership has a lot to do with this conversation as well. Just owning your retirement, making the most of it. Nobody else is going to do it for you at the end of the day.
I used to pick pennies up all the time back in the day. Yeah, and you could get a piece of candy for 1 penny back in the day. That was pretty cool. So there was no tax on it. You'd go in and get a penny, you go get a piece of candy.
I love it.
So, but there was a study we did back in the day, and it said if you have a penny and you double it every day for 1 month, 30 days, you'd have over $1 million. Wow. If you doubled it. So the next day would be 2 cents, 4 cents, 8 cents, etc. You're up to millions of dollars. I think it was like 10 million by the time 30 days
That's
came.
incredible. That's incredible. I remember seeing
penny
that
saved
chart.
is a lot of pennies earned.
A lot of pennies earned. I love that.
Yeah.
We're going to allude to compound interest there, which is later on in this here book. But until then, you like that? Until then, though, let's wrap up chapter 2, and folks, get ready for chapter 3. If anything that you've read in here or heard in here has drawn out some questions, and you want to talk to one of Coach Pete's fiduciary planners, just give us a call, text us, communicate with us. We'd be happy to sit down with you and walk you through the goal line.
Yeah.
See you next time.
It's Women and Money, and we luckily have some gals here. I've got Miss Jana, I've got Miss Amanda, I'm Jackie, and we have Coach Pete to keep us on the plan to make sure that we have enough money going through our stages of life.
Yeah.
Because you're right, it's not just about, is it? It's not just about retirement.
No, it's about living your life today and
Yes,
doing
yes.
things you want to do to enjoy your life.
Living your life today without punishing yourself tomorrow. And that's
Yeah.
what we do. We can do a plan like that. So you don't have to punish yourself ever. And so there are a lot of people that say, gosh, I can't have any fun because I need to save this money for retirement. Then you get to retirement, you can't do anything anyway.
Because you don't feel good.
Yeah, you know, here's a fact of life.
Yeah.
We get slower as we get older, don't we?
Oh, don't remind me. But through all the ages and stages, I think the important thing is, like, for instance, I'm getting married.
Great. Let's do it.
Next year, but it's been a really big topic in our house because I want to buy, certain things for the wedding. Ryan wants to buy certain things for the wedding. His big things are food and entertainment. And my big things are the dress and maybe the honeymoon. And maybe, so we had to really look at, like, okay, do we really need flowers? And the answer is no, the venue's pretty enough. That was one of the main things.
Oh, I love it.
So I'm trying to
You're paying a lot of money for the venue.
Yeah.
Well, usually flowers are to cover up a bad venue. So
There
if you already
you
have a
go.
good venue, what do you need
It's
flowers?
a
That is
good venue.
brilliant.
It's beautiful. It's lush. I'm like, why do we need all these flowers? I'll carry something down.
Save a lot of money that way.
bet.
I'm proud of you. You really put on your big girl panties with those decisions.
It was hard.
You want, in your heart, you want it all. You
It
want
was
the
hard.
dream
Well, sure.
You
storybook.
want the princess wedding.
Yeah, you
And
do.
Coach has got me thinking about getting a used dress. Like, I'm seriously, like, I'm not spending $5,000 on a
brainwashed
dress.
you, girl.
I'm not.
There's
I'm
no
not
need.
doing it.
There is no need. I wore a very
I said something
inexpensive
about a
gown
huge
as well.
dress?
Yeah, well, we talked about it in one of our live
I might have just said I
like
liked what you were talking about, but I mean, no, you don't need a huge dress. You need whatever you want. That's what you
Yeah,
want.
and I guess my
That was
answer,
diplomatic.
yeah, my question is for all of this and for those that are going through this and merging money and still keeping their independence is how do you, for lack of better words, compromise in this type of situation? Because obviously you're getting married, and these are bumpy roads going into the wedding, surviving all of that with families and cost and expense. But how do you reel it in?
Many times, a wedding is the first time a girl turning into a woman has ever had to worry about a budget.
Okay.
Because a lot of, like the rule is that the parents of the daughter always pay for the wedding. That's what they always say, right? So I'm a parent of 2 daughters. So I'm but so what Alan has done, my friend whose daughter's getting married, is he put together a absolute budget, like amount.
Okay.
We're not going over 40,000.
Oh,
which is a pretty big budget,
That's
if you
pretty
ask
good.
me.
Yes.
So,
That's big. That's generous.
but you
don't
have to. So even with a $40,000 budget, though, his daughter is starting to complain because she says, "I don't have enough for this. I want a live band. I want a cello. I want." But you have to make sacrifices somewhere, and that's what our Congress doesn't know how to do that because they just all they do is print more money. But we can't manage our personal debts or financial situations like Congress because we don't have some people may have a printing press.
Yeah.
That's illegal though. But no, it's just finding. You make that. You've done it too. You're already doing it. Mentally, you're making a priority list. What's most important? What are the 5 most important things in this wedding for me?
yes.
Right? You probably thought about that.
I'm getting married later in life too.
Yeah.
And so I'm not in my. But to my advice to the people that are in their 20s or early 30s that are doing it, I'm 40 now. Is just really look at long term, like what else could I spend this money on? And for me, it's Jackson's school, and we need to extend the fence in the backyard, and I want to do this to the house.
You can always find a need somewhere to spend money.
As opposed
Can't
to
you?
a
That's not enough
1-day,
money.
4-hour party.
Yeah. And I want to invest, and I don't want to be stranded in retirement where I'm like, why didn't I do this?
Well, I've seen some people, they say, well, we want to do a good honeymoon too, but we only have a certain amount of money for the whole wedding. So let's take a little bit away from the wedding and have a really nice honeymoon. Because the honeymoon's more important than anything. The people coming to the wedding are just coming to eat free and drink free.
Amen.
You know that. That's the only reason I go to weddings.
So once you're actually married,
I'll remember that.
Little personal dig here, but once you're married, are you going to blend your accounts, or are you keeping your own bank accounts?
So this is a loaded question because he technically has all of his stuff in Texas, and I have all of my stuff in North Carolina. So it's not something we've figured out yet. And so we'll have to get with Coach and talk about the benefits, the pros and the cons.
You know, the first thing you need is a trust.
Okay.
Because you're a blended family with a child. The trust is the most important thing. Not a will, but a trust. Because you don't want to end up like Cinderella. You don't want Jackson turning, like if you pass away and all of a sudden he remarries, and all of a sudden Jackson's treated like Cinderella. So you establish a trust.
Amanda's getting a trust today.
I'm getting a trust right now.
We do those trusts, and we have an attorney organization that we utilize to do the trust.
Okay.
But they are a lot more affordable if you do it through us than if you go see an attorney.
Truly.
Interesting.
So
That's such a good one.
We're talking about 60% less.
And there's tax advantages to having the trust, right?
Well, sometimes there's tax advantages. It's more of a peace of mind.
Okay.
A trust speaks for you even if you're not here anymore. That's what a trust does. A trust is a way to bypass probate. A will is an invitation to probate. Guess how much probate costs? Between 3 and 7% of whatever you have in your estate is lost in probate, plus probate is not private. Trusts are totally private. So that's why trust makes so much more sense. And so, but especially if you have a blended family, especially if you're getting married, everybody really needs some kind of trust or will, but everybody needs that little green book of life. So you can come in and if you come in to see me, I'll give you a copy, but you can buy it on Amazon as well.
The more you know with Coach Pete, you got to have that trust.
Really is. Trust is important in life in more ways than one.
So I'm going to pin you down on this one too. Do you recommend, we have a newlywed coming in, we won't use each other, but do you want her to keep her own separate finances, or do you recommend a blended household?
All right, here's something that causes a lot of divorces. Joint checking accounts. Joint checking accounts cause more divorces than anything.
Really?
They do.
Joint checking accounts. So I like a joint account to pay the bills, like the mortgage and the utilities, and you both put a little money in there. You establish what you're putting in there. Yeah, you both contribute. But then you both should have your own separate checking accounts. It's no fun to get a gift from a joint checking account for a birthday. Oh, happy birthday, honey. Well, good. Look what I paid for. You know,
I'm not a fan of the joint, so I feel like for that reason and other stuff, but my independence.
Joint accounts for your bills that you need, the community property, cars, insurance, all the kind of stuff you want to pay for together. But if you like a nicer car, you have your own account.
Nice.
It sounds fair to me. I still need my independence.
A lot less fighting if you have a blended. It's a blended family kind of thing. Because now you're with your husband, so blend the accounts. Have a joint, and then you both have your own individual.
And if you really have a good man, which you know you will, when you say, "Honey, can you please buy me this?" Then that's fine.
Yeah, but you don't want to buy it with a joint money, right?
No.
So what fun is it to get flowers from the money you just paid?
Jackie's like, absolutely no.
You know, it makes sense. But again, you have to figure out, and these conversations, unfortunately, are had after the wedding, not before.
It's true. Because people don't like to talk about money, especially women.
Yeah.
It's an awkward, a taboo subject.
But you guys are making. We got two more segments here to talk about. Episode segment, whatever we want to talk about. But we're going to get into even more detail when we come back. Hey, I'm Coach Pete DeRuda, president of Capital Financial. Folks, the financial world is very, very confusing. That's why we put together a series of educational videos called webinars. You can see them at any time by signing up at CoachPete.com. We'll see you there.
So let's talk crypto. I know it's not in our script, but what are your thoughts around crypto?
Well, they show it on CNBC now on the ticker down there. It always has the Dow, the S&P, the NASDAQ, and Bitcoin. So it's here. And you have companies that are putting it in their balance sheet. They're investing in it. Even countries are using it for their national security. They're putting it. They're building their national treasure up with Bitcoin. So I was always a skeptical guy. I still am. I'm a Generation X guy, so I'm skeptical. But I've got 4 Bitcoin myself. Not a lot, but my average cost is a lot higher than what we're talking about here. But it's a lot lower than what my average cost is. A lot lower than what it is now. I never thought we'd see over 100,000.
Yeah. So I was the biggest Bitcoin non-believer there was. I mean, it's the greater fool theory. You got to find somebody dumber than you to pay more to it. That's what I thought. And then I watched, I might have been Michael Saylor on CNBC.
It was really good.
Lay out a believable case to a total non-believer like me that Bitcoin could hit $1 million someday. And he said, all we're recommending is that our clients put 1% of their portfolio in Bitcoin, because if it goes to 0, that won't hurt you. If it goes to $1 million, you're going to be happy you did it. Well, that resonated with me. And so I put 1% of my portfolio back when Bitcoin was 2,000 a Bitcoin.
Oh, there you go.
And that is now worth well over 7 figures.
Good for you, Tom.
You know, and so I just took 1%, and so that was just a little risk with a major. I've never had anything go up as much as that has gone up.
Just make sure you have it in a good place, and someone can't come and steal it from you. Yeah, that's the only thing to hear about this.
So I know that.
And welcome into the next
of not outliving your money.
Okay.
All right, 92% chance of being okay. You know what I don't like? You've got an 8% chance of being in trouble.
Yeah.
I don't design any plan unless it has a 100% chance of you not being in trouble.
That's good. Yeah.
So I've always held my nose when someone comes in and says, well, my broker says I'll be fine. I say, yeah, you got about a 92% chance of being fine. What if you're in that 8% where you don't? If you got on a plane and the pilot came on the loudspeaker and said, folks, we've got about a 92% chance of landing safely today, who do you think is going to be the first person off that plane?
I'll be right behind you. How about that?
Yeah, you'll be able to do it. But, all right, so, and then they've done some studies and they said, really, you can't call it the 4% rule because a lot of people have run out of money. When the market goes down, you're taking money out. It could be even worse than a 8% chance of outliving your money. So then they came up, they revised it, and they called it the 2.8% rule.
Is that what it was?
So if you got $1 million, you can take $28,000 out a year and you got a 92% chance.
Imagine working your whole life, saving up that $1 million nest egg.
Even 4% rule is only $40,000. So the strategies we employ give you about 40 to 60% more with a 100% chance of not outliving your money.
I love it. That's so
lifetime income planning. So instead of getting $40,000, you get $60,000, and you got a 100% chance of never having a problem.
See, you take the worry out and you get more.
Taking the worry out of living in retirement.
That's a great.
One thing you don't want to be worried about in retirement is where the money's going to come from. You worked all your life to put this money away. Don't have someone take it away from you or outspend it. And so you can try to do it yourself, folks, but the do-it-yourselfer model never works. And you know, a lot of times we're going to have the first 10 years or 20 years of retirement. That's when we're going to be in the go-go years still. Yes. We can go do all the fun things. So you don't want to say, well, I don't know if I can afford it or not. And don't take vacations until you're 80 or 90, because then you might not be able to do it anymore.
That's very good.
So our planning enables you to start right away. We encourage you every year to go take a vacation, spend that money, because if not, you're going to build a bunch of money up. You're going to leave your kids. And guess what? They're going to take vacations. You take your vacation. So we make you take vacations. That's the way my planner's mean. He makes me go on vacations. Yeah. But again, it's all about understanding the taxes in there and making sure you understand the withdrawal strategies. And we can put together a total income plan for you that has 100% certainty of never having problems. All you have to do is call the number you see on the screen. There's no cost or obligation for this. We offer it every single week on our radio show. You can get it now, and I really think it makes sense, especially after reading this book. You know that you need to be in control, and we can put you in control.
You absolutely can. Folks, call Coach Pete and his fiduciary team at Capital Financial today. I love it. You said the word twice there, Coach, understanding. Yeah. It's so key, folks. Gain that understanding in your retirement plan. It'll lead to confidence, security. Call now, and we will be back with you shortly for the next chapter, Chapter 4.
This big game, every move counts. Plan wisely to win the match. Sidestep the unexpected and charge towards your goal. Navigate through the challenges. Retirement is your end zone, and the touchdown is within reach. A successful retirement is your championship. Let Coach Pete design your customized income game plan today.
So how do you handle this wealth transfer?
Yeah, it's tough because that's where the fights start.
Yeah.
I mean, the most friendliest families ever aren't friendly anymore when mom or dad passes away, or when the second of the two passes away, especially. Do it ahead of time. Again, it comes back to the little green book of life. As you, as the person, you can write in here who you want to get things, and then why, and then you also do a trust or will to back this up. I like trust better than will because trust is pretty concrete, and a will is an invitation to probate, and a trust is a bypass probate. But this is what you do. You fill this out, then you bring this into an attorney, or go online and do your own trust. We've got a program that does it a lot cheaper than attorneys do, and then they have attorneys behind the scenes. But this little green book of life is step one. Put your desires down and make sure people don't fight, because we don't have pyramids anymore, Tom. They don't bury you with all your goods.
Welcome back into the next episode of Tax Savvy Retirement. I'm Thomas Lipscomb alongside best-selling author Coach Pete D'Arruda. We are covering Chapter 4 today. It is Tax Bracket Management Strategies. This sounds interesting to me. One thing I do know is there are tax brackets, and you don't necessarily want to creep too far into those. Is it hard to do, though, in retirement because you've got RMDs and all these different things that are,
One of the things that people get worried about is they say, gosh, I don't want to be in a higher tax bracket in retirement.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
Yeah.
But there's nothing wrong with that, by the way. That means you're making a lot of money.
Okay.
And so here's what you shouldn't worry about. Now, we have these tax brackets. You make a certain amount of money, you pay 15% tax. We'll say you make a little more, you pay 22%.
Mm-hmm.
Make even more, 28%. But it's only on the excess. Yeah. So let's say, Coach, I can't make over $50,000 because I don't want to go into this 22% tax bracket. So, well, if you make $51,000, only $1,000 of that, only $1,000 of the $51,000 is going to be in the higher tax bracket.
There you go.
Because you pay the lower tax on until you get to the higher level. So a lot of people think that once you reach a higher bracket, it retroactively goes back and taxes you the big amount from $1.
Right.
That's false. And so the first thing I always tell people is stop worrying. It's not as bad as we think it is sometimes, but it's still bad. But there are some ways. Let's say you have a great stock and it's done really well, and so you have a big gain. So you're going to have capital gains tax on that when you take it out. Long term, which is good. You want long-term capital gains tax, not short-term. Short-term's a lot more.
Yes.
It's whatever income tax rate you're at. Long-term is 15 or 20%, a lot better deal.
Okay.
So you say, well, Coach, this is going to put me into a higher tax bracket. I do not want to be in that higher tax bracket. I heard you, Coach. I heard you say I'm only going to have to pay the taxes on the excess, but I don't even want to do that. Now, so let's look through your stock portfolio. I'm pretty sure you've had a loss or two, as like a bad stock. Maybe you're down some. Why, yes, there's this penny stock that my broker told me about, and I've lost $10,000 in there.
Oh.
So you sell that, you take a $10,000 loss and go against the $10,000 gain you just made, you equaled that out. Now you're still in the low tax bracket.
I like that.
So there's a lot of creative ways. And so don't despair, but get a planner who's been there before and understands the tools and techniques to help you look ahead in the tax code to protect your behind from the tax man.
Very important
So
to
we
do.
do that. It's fun, folks. It's fun. When we turn the tables on the tax man, it gets really fun, Thomas, because it's a lot of fun to tell the tax man, well, I know you're not getting more tax this year from me. Matter of fact, you're going to give me money back or something like that.
I love it.
So it's about using what's available to you to put you in control. It's called tax arbitrage, and we do that every single day. 100% legal, using the rules as they exist to put you ahead of the game.
Fantastic. Folks, contact Coach Pete's team at Capital Financial today. Starts with a 22-step process. All of this is behind the scenes for you. We try to make it easy.
And there's no cost.
No, there's no, which, by the way, is such an incredible, even you offer this even as a second opinion review.
Yeah.
And the power behind
Get a second opinion first, and then we'll tell you if you really need to get a new plan. Many times we say, hey, everything you're doing is fine. That gives you that peace of mind.
Yeah.
We're not here to sell something. We're here to make sure you're in control.
That right there is the power of fiduciary, folks. Connect
Yep.
with his fiduciary team now. You see the information on your screen, how you can connect with us. Start it. Knowledge is power. I think that came from Schoolhouse Rock, right?
Yeah, it did.
Knowledge is power, and we will see you on the next chapter.
Welcome back to our series, Women and Money. I wish it was called Women in Money, because then we'd all be in the money. I'm just saying. We've got Coach Pete here to kind of guide us along. Jackie, I've got Amanda, and Jana, Miss Jana. Now, what about the divorce, Coachy? What if we get divorced with our money?
It was old Eddie Murphy comedy routine. He said half the money's going somewhere else. We see a lot of, unfortunately, they call them silver divorces. And a lot of people get it. Like
in retirement, yeah.
You go from working, so when you're working 40 hours a week, you really hardly ever see your spouse. You see him in the morning, maybe.
Yeah.
And you see him at night for maybe dinner, a late dinner, a kiss, a good night, and then the same thing. Then on the weekends, you're doing yard work or you're hanging out with friends or maybe you're not spending much time together. And then you get excused from work, or you either retire or you get let go, and now you're at home 40 hours and your spouse is there too. Maybe you see too much of each other.
Oh,
you go
dear.
from not seeing each other at all. Well, let's even rewind even further. You go from dating all the time and loving each other to getting married and then getting jobs and then not seeing each other hardly at all for 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years. And now all of a sudden you're seeing each other full time again. It's a new person.
It is, because you
Yeah.
change.
You
as
change.
you
We
age,
all
yeah.
change. I mean, look, even our world changes because we have 7 continents now, and they used to be one big piece of land.
Yeah,
They're
right.
constantly separated
Yeah.
from each other, aren't they, Jana? And so we all
Geo.
are. There's gravitational pull pulling
like
us
that.
different ways. And so compromise it gets more and more valuable and important as we get further into marriage.
And if you can't change together, if you can't, grow, then all of a sudden you are facing that separation or divorce. But even further than that, what if your spouse is hiding stuff from you, debt that you don't know about?
That happens a lot.
And it looms over you when they pass away, and you're like, how am I going to support
Yeah.
the household? How am I going to do all this?
Well, even if they haven't passed away yet, maybe you wish they did. Sometimes you start getting
Yeah.
these collector mail all the time, like you owe this, or
That's a
calls
whole
at
nother
night.
episode.
Back in the day when we had one phone at home, remember one phone at home was on
Yes,
the wall?
on the wall.
And the debt collector would call. Well, if the debt collector was calling then, you could hear it because you could hear the conversation. Now we got these little cell phone things, and nobody really knows what's going on in here. We have our own private worlds. I mean,
That's
everybody has their
true.
own private world now. And so it makes it a whole lot easier to cheat if you want to, I guess, doesn't
I
it?
suppose, yeah.
And so, and it makes it a whole lot easier to cheat, meaning spend
With
a lot of
money,
money.
yes.
Yeah, and so when debt collectors are calling you on your phone, here they're not calling it a hallway phone anymore. My dad used to. We weren't allowed to talk to girls when I was growing up because Dad was a college professor. He said girls were almost like Bobby Boucher would say, the devil.
Oh my gosh! Did
And so
he?
Dad would get mad at us, because he said, you should be studying. That's
That's
what he always
funny.
say. So we had one phone, and so we had to make the conversations very short. And to this day, I don't like talking on the phone because I never really talked on the phone.
Yeah. Do you recommend prenup?
I recommend having a conversation about it.
Okay.
Okay.
Because that's something that, yes, financially
Yes.
makes a whole lot of sense. Emotionally, it's that's a minefield. isn't
It could be. It
Yeah.
could really separate you initially, like even before the wedding happens. If I want to get a prenup, but
What have you been thinking about this?
well, I was married before.
Yep.
So
Who hasn't been these days?
and so,
Jana's only married.
Still working on my first marriage.
and he had a lot of Bitcoin that I didn't know about.
Wow.
And he was actually buying a lot of Bitcoin with our money, joint money. So I'm like, what? It was shocking to me to know about that when we got divorced. So I guess what I'm trying to say is, have the hard conversations now.
Yeah.
Because then you find out, hey, are you compatible or not? Because if you're not willing to go through the hard conversation just to sit down face to face, if you're not grown up enough for that, then red flag.
Yeah.
So I guess that's the red flag.
The
for
Bitcoin's
me,
interesting. I
guess.
assume they found that on the forensic accounting
They did.
dive into there. Yeah, saying,
They
where did
did.
this money go?
Uh-huh.
Because
Yeah.
he thought he was being all sneaky, wasn't he?
Yeah. Well,
Did you get half the Bitcoin?
I don't want to say exactly, but we had a lot of money in our real estate too. Nashville was up like a crazy amount, so that was nice. But I just didn't know the depths of all of it. And the forensic accounting is expensive.
Yeah,
If you don't
they make
know
some
how
money
much
now.
that is. So know that. Know before you get married. And I don't know if I want to get a prenup. I feel like I trust Ryan 100%. But if you get married without a prenup, is what you have before you get married yours?
Yeah, if you get married without a prenup, you usually, if you're bringing it into the wedding,
Okay.
Marriage, it should be yours. But
Okay.
again, I would outline it. It doesn't have to be a prenup, and I'm not an attorney, by the way.
Yeah.
But I would write down type something out saying,
Okay.
we're entering this marriage at this date, and before I met you, I accumulated this. So
Yeah.
I'm bringing this in, and you had this, and you're bringing this into the marriage. If we leave each other in the future, divorce.
Yeah.
Then we should both leave with this without these being disturbed by each other. In other
Okay.
words, whatever I bring, I should leave with. But if you put it in writing and you both sign it and get it, I'm a notary, I can notarize for you. Get it notarized, it would be.
So let's jump to that because you're in the marriage stage. But what about the Social Security claiming and the retirement accounts? What would you suggest women do?
Yeah, well, a lot of times your husband has made more money than you have over the years. It's not your fault. It's just what the world has done. So
a lot of women take time off to have kids, and they have many years of not earning.
There's two parts. Remind me the second part.
Okay.
It's about divorce. Remind me that in a minute.
Okay.
But this is like if you're married to your husband, and you're still and you're retiring, or you want to start taking Social Security. You may be able to take your husband's portion, it may be more than yours, before you activate yours. And so you can take, that's a special claiming strategy where you get a lot more income until yours builds up to the point where it's higher, or it may never. You can always get your spouse's part.
Okay.
But if you've been married before and you've been divorced, you're married for at least 10 years and you're currently divorced, you can actually claim your ex-spouse's Social Security amount. And they don't know about it and it doesn't affect theirs. So you may only get like, let's say $2,000 a month, but ex-spouse may get $3,800. Which one are you going to claim? Your ex-spouse.
Wow.
So we can show you how to do that too. So these are a lot of things that people overlook. And here's one thing: the Social Security Administration will not tell you that when you go there. All their job is to make sure that you fill your paperwork out. They can't give you any advice. So we give advice before you go make that decision, Social Security wise. So that's a big one.
That's a huge one.
It's a big one.
So
Costs
it's
me a lot of
best
money.
to get in to talk to a
Get
planner.
a claiming strategy, yeah. Well,
Yes.
Anytime. I mean, I think it's good to have a financial advisor on call anyway. But I mean, once a year you should meet with your advisor and go through what changed in a year.
Sure.
Well, this is a big change when you get ready to retire. So then there's a need for a big meeting. If you don't have an advisor yet, sort of like not going to the dentist for years and years and years.
Boy,
and
there's
your tooth is starting to hurt.
Oh, boy.
Well, getting close to retirement, just picture your teeth are starting, your financial teeth are starting to hurt. You need to go meet with them. And I promise we're not going to do any drilling.
Good. That's good. Boy, do I wish I would have known this stuff when I was married, because I got divorced during the CDs, with splitting up the CD. Oh my goodness, you guys.
But if you've gone through a
Well,
divorce,
were you married more than 10 years?
Yes.
We'll be able to enact that strategy then down the road.
Fine. Works for me.
Jackie's making notes.
I know.
But if you've been through a divorce, you're probably already sensitive. You know, it's probably hell to go through one. If somebody needs to simplify things, will you do this for them?
Yeah. Yeah, we break it down.
If I just say, "Hey, I like what you said, do
Yeah.
it," I don't have the bandwidth to do it.
Yeah. Yeah, here's what we always do. Since I've come from a family of educators, dad, college professor, mom, school teacher, I like to do it for people, but then I also like to show them how we did it, how they can do it themselves.
Nice.
Okay, and why. And always, it's one thing when somebody does something, they say, well, why do they do that? They never tell you. Like you go to the doctor's office, here, let me hit the knee. Why are you doing that, doc? Boom.
Yeah.
My knee moves. And tell me why. But that's what we do. We tell you why we're doing things and why why should we take income from the regular IRA before the Roth IRA, or why should we get life insurance because it has a long-term care rider on it. You know, life insurance is something everybody has, but a lot of people have these old policies. What does that mean? Well, the new life insurance policies let you take some of your death benefit, like let's say you have $1 million life insurance policy, a lot of people have at least $1 million. You have to go to a nursing home. You don't have nursing home insurance, but you have a life insurance policy that has a nursing home rider on it.
Nice.
These are the new policies. You can reach into your death benefit. Let's say you need $100,000 for home health care for a year. They'll give you $100,000 out of your death benefit, tax-free, and there it is. And probably you only paid maybe $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 for that whole life insurance policy. Now you've already got $100,000 out to pay for long-term care this year. You can do it next year, the year after. The year after, when you pass away, whatever's left gets passed on as a death benefit to your next of kin.
You're like a protector. You're like Coach Pete to the scene.
Well, it really makes a lot of sense because long-term care, you guys haven't talked about it, but you guys are gonna spend more. Well, you can't really say this, but women are going to spend more time in long-term care facilities than Coach Pete is because, again, us guys don't live as long. But my finances don't need to be an enemy; they need to be an ally, and we can show you how to make your finances work for you. Like we're talking about the right way to file Social Security, the right way to buy life insurance, the right way to get that retirement income put together. We can do it for you. Just call the number you see on the screen.
So the Gallup reports that 61% of Americans fear outliving their income is worse than dying early.
It is. And so I wrote about this. I've got a pocketbook series. So 6 different books like this. This is number 4. This is tactics. And one of the tactics is to make sure that you have an account set up or 2 or 3 accounts that are going to make sure to give you that financial fill-up strategy. It's one thing to ask a broker, hey, is my retirement safe? And of course, they're going to say yes, because they don't want your money to leave. If your money leaves, so does their commissions or their money under management fee. So we need to have some of our money that's isolated from financial termites, I call them. Those are unnecessary risk, fees, and commissions coming out of your accounts. And we could do that with the insurance industry, a step forward to give you lifetime guaranteed income accounts. And if you don't have one, you really need one, Tom.
Welcome back into Annuity Avenue, folks. Coach Pete here. I've got Mr. Greg Berrien with me, one of my advisors. Works really hard to make sure people are happy, not only today, tomorrow, but all the way through retirement. I think you're going to see how great Greg does his job here when we talk about this hypothetical case example here. Before we tape this episode, we have an Uncle Sam hat in the office. We should bring that in here, Thomas, next time. But it's Uncle Sam hat, and inside the hat are a bunch of different age numbers, from 50 all the way to 98, believe it or not. And Greg reaches in there, and we decided we were going to do a widow this week. So just one person. Greg, what number did you draw out this week?
70 years old, Coach.
70-year-old widow. Yeah. Okay. And then we have a different hat. We reach in. Well, actually, we dump the numbers out, and then we put different numbers in the same hat. It's the same hat, but it's a different. There's only one stream of income coming in, and they've lost one of the Social Security incomes to put this money in a safe place. So go over to put this money in a safe place. So go over to the whiteboard now. Let's write down the. Let's go through the numbers.
All right.
So in that blue box, you're going to write down the age 70.
All right, she's 70 years old.
Single lady.
Single.
And we drew $500,000 out, right?
$500,000.
So, Greg, your job, if you decide to accept it today, is to show us how that $500,000 can be in a safe place and give her lifetime income.
Guaranteed.
Do you accept that?
Coach, I accept your challenge.
Oh, yeah? All right, Greg. Now, again, this is a very valuable challenge you're taking on because a lot of folks watching probably have $500,000, probably have a lot of widows watching. We do have a lot of people watching each week. By the way, folks, if you like what you're watching, like it on the screen there where you can do the thumbs up, and also share with your friends because a lot of your friends probably could use this information too. So, all right, Greg, 70-year-old, single, widow, $500,000. Right now, it's all in the red bucket, which means it could go down, down, down. It could go up, up, up. There's no floor between what she can make and what she can lose, right?
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. And so what this lady is looking for is absolute security, knowing that she's going to be able to create that pension, so to speak,
right.
That money that's going to come to her every single month, Coach. Every single month is going to land in her checking account, even have the taxes taken out for her because it is an IRA money.
Now, you and I are not negative people, but we have to do this every single example we do. We have to show you, what if you moved your money over into our place here, the example we're showing, and every single day for the rest of your life, for the next 30, 40, 50 years, there was not one single up market. It was down, 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 down. Now, the chances of that happening are slim to none, but it still could. Right? So we have to show you everything. So if the market went down, 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 she would not get any return whatsoever. She would get a zero, though. Now, if you had the money still in the red bucket, she would probably run out of money. She would have a zero there, too. She would have lost all her money because she would have been sharing in the gain of the market, which was a zero or negative 30 or negative 40 or negative 50. So what would she have if she put the money in here and only got zeros? What can you show us for that?
What would she get on that? Well, she would get.
And did she start taking income right away? Or when
She's going to take income right away.
Right away. All right. So
right
she
away.
put the money in and starts taking income right away.
You know what's cool about this?
What's that?
Okay. The average advisor out there, they're going to ask her to take only, 4% out, right?
No, we heard about the 4% rule on Wall Street, which says that about only 92% of people are successful taking 4% of their money out. The other 8% or so people run out of money before they run out of life. Greg, is that our goal, is to have people run out of money when they're still here?
Well, I'm not going to.
No, we need to always make sure you have more than enough income, and then we need to make sure that your spouse gets that same income, and then when we pass away, we need to make sure our next of kin gets whatever's left.
And 4% is not going to help her make her income gap. Here's what this company is going to do.
Okay.
They're going to give her money at a rate of 6.65%, guaranteed the rest of her life. It's crazy.
We're talking about the zero, the first, Greg.
Right, no, they're going to give her 6.65% of the $500,000. So here's the thing, Coach. She's going to get annually, every year, for the rest of her life, $33,250. That's even if the market were to collapse for the rest of her life.
So could she ever run out of that money?
She'll never stop getting her income.
So she lives to be 130 years old because she still gets the income.
She'll keep getting that money.
All right, that's pretty neat.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, that's because if she had her money in the red bucket, like she does right now, before she puts the money in the green bucket, she'd lose her money. She wouldn't have any money. She would probably not have income after 5 or 6 years in the retirement.
It'd be gone.
Especially if the market's going down every single year, and that's what we're showing here. Now, we're not negative, are we?
No, gotcha.
What if the market did something better than zero every single year, which chances are it probably will? How can we show? You don't share in the losses. That's the magic of it. You get a zero when the market goes down. You get to share in the gain when the market goes up. It's the best of both worlds if you think about it.
Exactly. Yeah. And so the next year, she's going to get $34,600 $1,073.
All right, a little bit of increasing income there. All right, what year did you decide she was going to pass away, in your example?
Well, I have her 95 years old.
The Grim Reaper. That's about, what, 25 years from when she started?
Yep.
What's the average life expectancy right now for a female?
Around 80 years old.
80?
70.
Average life expectancy right now for a female?
Around 80 years old.
80?
78 to 80 is the average lifespan.
We're going to show her living longer.
Yeah.
Now, keep in mind, she could live to be 120, 130, 140. The income would still come to her. She'd never run out of it. But, all right, this example, she passed away at age 95 after having it 25 years. How much money did she take in that 25 years?
I need a lot of ink here. 1 million.
That's why I had you switch pens.
400. When she runs out of money.
All right, let's say the market doesn't go up. She still gets money. She just doesn't get.
When she runs out of money.
All right, let's say the market doesn't go up. She still gets money. She just doesn't get increasing money.
Let's say it was here, then the market stopped going up.
Yeah,
she
so
keeps getting at 34,000.
So whatever your balance, whatever the income is the year before, when the market did have a positive return, the next year the market has a negative return, so you get a zero. Yeah. You still get the amount you got the year before.
By the way, Coach, according to this, if she tops out before she runs out of money, she'll be getting 62,000.
When you say tops out, what do you, is that would
the
be
most she'll ever get?
Okay, 62,000.
62,150.
If we have an increasing market, she's going to share in that gain, and if we have an increasing market, she's going to share in that gain, and she's going to be very happy. So, folks, if you like this example, put make sure to like it here on the screen. If you want to have one customized for you and your family, which, Greg, why wouldn't somebody want to have this in writing? Folks will show you what your own numbers would look like based on your true ages and your true money. These are hypotheticals we do here because we don't know.
Can significantly affect your net returns and retirement security.
We have taxable bucket. That's paycheck bucket. You earn money, you have to pay tax on it. Then we have tax deferred. That's when you earn your paycheck and in your employer, maybe sometimes, or maybe you go down to the bank, you buy an IRA or you get a 401k with your employer, you can put the money into your account before taxes. That's where you're deferring the taxes. You're going to have to pay the taxes down the road. The big problem I have here is, yes, you get a nice little deferral. You don't have to pay tax on whatever money you put in an IRA or 401k at that time. But when you take the money out, not only do you have to pay tax on what you put into the 401k or IRA, you also have to pay tax on the gain. That's an invisible tax, and that's a tax time bomb because we have no idea. If you have a great gain, you have a great amount of taxes. That's not fun, is it? So those are the two buckets here when we talk about paycheck. Then we have a tax-free bucket. That's if your employer, a lot of times, they'll offer you a Roth IRA option. So the Roth IRA, you can put the money into Roth, but you can't deduct it from your tax return. In other words, if you put $3,000 into a regular IRA, you could deduct your taxable income by $3,000. So $60,000 salary down to $57,000 salary for tax purposes. But if you put that money in a Roth, the $60,000 salary, you still owe $60,000. You still have to pay tax on $60,000. And we're going to tax you on everything you've gained from that harvest. Which choice would you do? The Roth IRA. You pay the guys one time, you pay the tax, you never have to see them again. Now, those are the